We're live
Are we?
with your mother.
There's no one. Well, if that she's the only one watching.
You know, one of these days, your mom's gonna have to get one of those moisturizers commercials.
There we go. Now we have an audience.
Hey,
We got
how's it?
Maranya. We don't need anybody else.
Right,
I don't need anybody else. I've got this lamp. I don't need anything else. Now maybe this chair. All right. What
is that from?
movie was I doing?
Oh, I'm trying to think because
Maranya knows. I guarantee.
Oh, I
she'll-
get-
the jerk.
Oh yeah, the jerk. Oh yeah, the jerk.
You know,
Yeah,
when he's gathering up all the stuff.
because he got kicked out.
Yeah.
With his funny glasses and everybody cross-eyed. Wow, it's been a while since I watched
was it the Optigrab? Was that what he called it?
I can't remember. All I know is that it made everybody cross-eyes.
Yeah.
The glasses. Man, I haven't watched it in a hot minute. I'm trying to think. I'm like, what can I remember that movie? I remember the train thing. He got a job as a riding the train with the kids and stuff.
When he's out to dinner with Bernadette Peters, yeah, she's wearing a real low cut gown, and the waiter tries like Vichy Swan, the soup's cold, and he goes, "What do you take us for? 2 boobs?"
Oh, who else was in that movie? Wasn't there also some famous too? Another comedian act.
Bill Macy, who was famous at the time, not William H. Macy, but the guy that played Maud's husband. He was in it, and it's been so long since I've seen it. I can't remember who else was in it.
I just remember he meets the chick, and that's the one on the dirt bike. She's the one that kind of bullies him into like dating her.
Well, I said I don't know, but I know like Bernadette Peters was in it. Yeah. That's all I remember.
That was the blonde with the kid, right?
No, that was there's really only 2 things I remember about her. I mean, let's be perfectly honest.
There was a kid there? I had no idea.
Was lucky kid.
All right. So what's going on, guys? If you're wondering what's going on here, I really have no idea. We kind of just shoot the shit a little bit for people to come in. Yeah, Bernadette
Peters.
Know that.
What is Bernadette? They were together in real life too.
Oh, really? Did not know that.
At the time, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I found a clip of Steve Martin on the Smothers Brothers show. I think like in the late '60s. He really looked young.
Well, that stand-up he did, he first did the stand-up as he remember him seeing him with brown hair.
It was probably from he probably did a routine on the Smothers Brothers too, because that was a comedy show in
the '70s. You know, he played the banjo, he had stuff, and I forgot who it was. Someone was talking about it, and they read his book, apparently Steve Martin's book. He quit doing stand-up once people, pretty much got the joke, they already knew what's going to coming. At the point where, or actually, it was either that, or I think it was that people didn't appreciate the comedy anymore, or something like that. I know I'm butchering it, so I'm thinking but it was one of the reasons why he quit. He quit doing stand up. Like he used to do it all the time. Oh, that's what it was. He used to do. Remember, he used to do the crazy stuff. He jump up and down and stuff.
Yeah,
shock value stuff, and after a while, it got to the point where everyone started copying. It got to the point where he just didn't feel like doing anymore the physical comedy, and that's why he switched to doing acting now, with to be a movie career. But I don't know. I still have to watch his show. He's with the Martin Stewart.
Martin Short.
Martin Short. Sorry. Yeah. And Selena Gomez.
Thank you.
I know it's like what.
Yeah, I said it's they're you get to a certain point and they're all interchangeable.
Pretty much.
I got a question for Tehillim. Welcome. My LCS got delayed. Comic delivery this week, so I'll be getting them sometime next week. On a scale of 1 to 10, Tehillim, what was your level of disappointment when you realized you'd have to wait a week to get your new books? Because there was a time when mine would have been 11. Spinal Tap reference there for you kids.
Considering that he's over in Australia, sorry for doxing you. No one's going to go to the Outback and find you. That'd be
I'm
dangerous.
just curious. Like, what would yours be?
For me personally,
Yeah, at this point.
if I miss the book, physically owning it,
No. If you like the shipment, like you go for the new books and they're not there. Now, I realize that with the
technology now.
Yo-ho-ho sites and stuff, it's
Yes.
not.
If you would have asked me back in 2003 or when I first started getting into comic books, there was no Yoho sites.
Right.
If there was, it was really hard to find them.
But see, that kind of defeats the purpose of this question because.
But no, because back then there was a lot of books back then. I was really happy to grab pull. Now I've got to the point where if I miss a book, I really don't care about having a physical copy.
That's where I was going.
Yeah.
That's where I was going with that because if you and once upon a time, like I said, if the new books, because I remember walking up to like a couple miles to catch a bus going downtown to this newsstand, and they weren't there. Now that's a little different story.
For me? Every Wednesday I get to go and hang out with the guys at the comic book shop. That's the goal. That's like the highlight of my day. And then then talk with you guys later on, like on Thursday, the next day on Thursday, talking about the books. Lately, because it's just some of the books just don't grab me. But there are a few. It's slowly starting to change around. Where I will be upset. But I'm also the person like. Some people they'll buy every issue of a series, and then they'll go and buy the trade on top of that. I'm getting to the point where like, should I just go for the trade and just leave the issues behind? But I thought about it's like because I have got the point where I'm like almost like he was at the point. I'm buying new books because to show off the new books.
Yeah, like I said, he says 3 out of 10. Yeah. And I'm just wondering, like I said, if there was ever a point where, if it would have been greater. I keep forgetting that in 2023 you can find the stuff, but because I said it's hell 2008 I'd have been.
I would say if I had the means and the money, the travel and stuff, going to comic book stores looking for back issues, that'd be more fun.
Oh, no question. I mean that'd have been more fun when new comics were awesome.
Yeah. But with today's stuff, I can wait for it to hit the dollar bin.
Well, I mean, it's going to be there next week. I mean, it's just like, but there was a point where if you made me wait a day, if I said, you get out there and go, oh, the UPS got delayed, it'll be tomorrow. I'm like, just,
sometimes my shop will be delayed a book and I hate it. I don't, because I have to go to this competition, then I have to get the book. I don't get my 20%, but still, it's like, I like having the book right then and there when I'm there at the shop. And so if I have to go my way to get the other shop, I get pissed off. Sure, So I do like collecting some physical books, but I mean, if I really thought about it, you're talking to the guy. I quit comic books for a while. Remember? I didn't come back until I was 18.
Yeah, the point of trying to going for is, there was a time when there were books that would come out on that Wednesday that I read that Wednesday, come hell or high water.
Now, see. That for me, because going back and reading the post-crisis Superman, if I would have been old enough to be old to read comic books back then, I don't care. Drink as much as you want. Have a toast.
Mac, I'm old and I got to pee a lot.
But I'm saying, the 80s, 70s, and 80s, you guys had the best comic books. No matter what company it was.
Let me show you the 2 books I read right before the stream started. Little post-crisis Superman for you there.
Nice. Which issues are those?
Where'd Blair come from? Adventures 503 and Superman Man of Steel 23.
Nice. Yeah, those are just fun issues all the way through. And then the fact you're getting Roger Stern, Marv Wolfman, Gerard Way, John Byrne. It is on that's only on DC, and then John Byrne was also working over at Marvel for a while too. So you got Claremont in the X-Men, Jim Lee art on the X-Men, Spider-Man, Dave Michelin, McFarlane, all that stuff. Those guys. Roger Stern, man, I worked on both. Yeah, it's just an awesome time back then. Back then it was a totally different scenario for me. If I would have been your age, I would have been at the shop. Yeah, same way. Nowadays, it's disheartening because nowadays I don't know if the book's going to suck or not. A lot of times I will pre-read it online
Yeah.
before I go in the shop because I don't want to spend $4 and they take that gamble. And now that they're $6, you're getting the point. It's like buying a movie before you even watch it. You watch it all because most people go to the theater to preview it, or they go by a friend's house or word of mouth, and then you just go. I'm going to spend $25 on this DVD, Blu-ray, or just run over DVD, and hope it's good. And then you realize, oh, it sucks. And I just wasted $25.
Yeah, it'd be like if Pixel spent $25 once upon a time on Commando,
yeah,
and it sucked because Pixel has no taste. Yeah, it'd be like that. I don't know why I did that. He's like, I'm sure he doesn't watch these.
Well, I'm just saying back then with Commando, it'd be like spending $25 and getting like was there Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey? And then you find out, holy crap, does this suck? But let's say you didn't watch your trailers. You don't know anything about it. You don't listen. You don't go online. You're on YouTube. You live in your own little bubble. You do your own thing. And then you're like, okay, I'm listening. And then you're like, what the hell is this crap? You know?
Yeah, getting back to comics, there was a time when you could easily pick out 15, 20, maybe even more books a week and not be disappointed by any of them.
Then the least this money would be, oh, this was a mid-issue. Okay. And then the next couple of issues, maybe it picks up, and or you find out that's not my cup of tea. But there was that's like what, 1 out of 20? Any books you picked up?
I know you tuned in for a couple minutes last night. You saw the guys that worked at comic shop somewhere out west that were guests last night.
No, I only tuned in for that one.
It was the guy that was sitting next to the black dude. They're both of them on the panel. Well, his favorite. He has like a life-size Darkhawk that he brought with him that he keeps in the store. And the question came up: is Darkhawk good? And my explanation was, we kind of made fun of it a little bit at the time, but now it has everything that we wish comics had still.
Yeah,
like subplots and supporting casts and.
It still might be a mid, but today it's a great book.
And then you go back and read it and go, yeah, this is what we wanted. Because I said I didn't give like the Will Payton Starman or the Quasar series. They were just kind of like, yeah, they're there. I love them now.
Yeah, I read the Starman only because they had a crossover with one of the Superman books during post-crisis. Drink again.
Zach's favorite crossover.
Yeah,
Crisis on Crimson Kryptonite.
Yeah, so Starman.
3 Ks.
I know. It's like Jonah, 3 Js. Gotta hit those 3 Ks, and then you're out.
That's right.
No, so like I said, that question easily. If I would have been back in the day, buying the books, when they're coming out in the '80s, in the late '70s, '80s, man, like I said, the Marvel magazines, those are awesome.
Yeah, those were pretty much gone before I started, or they were on their last legs.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But they were sitting there available for you to pick them up as back issues. They're like, what, 10 years old?
Here's the problem. When I started buying comics, where were the back issues? They didn't. There really weren't shops.
No.
I went to my first shop in '78. A guy had it in his basement because the guy, place I work now.
Yeah.
At the time, he was just doing flea markets. He didn't open a store until, I want to say, 81. And I discovered it right before they moved around the corner. So in 75, 76, there was a place on the highway, the Dixie Highway, which supposedly goes from Erlanger, Kentucky to Florida.
Okay.
But they got shoplifted out of business. There was a place that sold used records that in the back room they had just tables with stacks of used comic books and Rolling Stones. And again, 1975 and 76.
You would think maybe hobby stores would be the ones that had the first comic book shops?
Well, the comic book shops really took off when the direct market came into play. And that may have been a coincidence, but there was a trickle of them into the late 70s, but in the early 80s, and then by the mid 80s, it exploded.
Because I mean, like Yeah, I mean, if I was getting direct market all the time for comic books, like I got everything I wanted. But then, like, the cool thing about going to the shop is like if it had, oh, I didn't try this title, they have this here, or maybe I want to get one replace the one that my mom spilled coffee on, or my little brother.
Try to imagine there was a time when I'll do the music equivalent when Guns N' Roses Use Your Illusion 1 and 2 came out. It was pre-internet, pre-burning all shit.
Yeah.
We ordered them in stand-up boxes. We just opened the boxes, and then the boxes within the boxes, and just sold them out of that, like we were, passing out, Pez to kids.
Yeah.
Now it was the same thing with comics. The X-Men books were selling hundreds a month at each store.
Yeah, I've seen those the videos where Stan Lee goes to the stores and he's signing and stuff, and you just see the crowds and crowds, especially in the 80s.
Books that creators would kill, the numbers that creators would kill for today were cancellation levels. As recent as the early 90s. It was, and obviously there are other factors. I mean, they could be as good as they were back then and they still wouldn't sell like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was amazing how many people were like me, would go in there every week, buy 20 or 30 new books without fail.
Wow.
Hell, I could probably find 15 to 20 on a skip week.
Now it's like I said, like if you look at these shops, it's like I see a lot of people wandering, but only a few handful, like at the big box store, the one that has the manga and all that stuff. There's people line up. I'm like, why are you lining up? Like,
hey, Dave.
Shop? I don't understand anymore. It's like you afraid you're gonna miss out on a book. Like this shop actually is a bigger shop, so it orders more than the shop I go to, which is like, okay, I'll order 2 copies. You either tell me what you want. That's the one thing I don't understand is that, and this happens all the time, where people will suddenly like, I want this book, but you won't tell the shop owner. So the shop owner only orders so many because, well, it's nobody has in their pull list, nobody said anything. So then he's like, I ordered 3 or 4. So then when the order goes for the next issue, oh, I ordered those. Nobody wants them.
I gotta say, Maranya just outed herself as being my age because she also went to head shops. Lemon Starship was the one in our neck of the woods.
Lemon Starship.
I don't think they had comics, but they had like black light posters, incense, all that shit.
I was gonna say they probably were.
But and everything, all the accoutrements that you could legally sell, yes.
But being a kid walking into one of those, you're like,
nobody said a bleeping thing in those days.
Well, no, I'm just thinking like
no. I'm saying now, we try to protect kids from. We try to put them in little glass bubbles and raise them without ever having anything that would offend their little sensibilities, and they all turn out damaged.
Was the shop owner like Tommy Chong, stoned out his mind?
Hell, if I remember, I was 14.
Well, you'd always kind of weird you out. You're like, what's wrong with that guy?
No, that's it. Look, what I remember from being 14, I was just starting out in comics, and the Reds were the best team in baseball. Oh. I hadn't even started smoking yet.
I always hear those,
and I wasn't drunk yet either.
I always hear those like I was 11 years old. I was smoking my first pack of cigarettes. I'm like, people, I'm like, where are you from? Ohio.
I was 12, and this guy caught me and a friend of mine smoking out behind this hotel, and he just lectured the crap out of us, and I realized, man, these suck.
And then he lighted up one.
Yeah, well, a few years later, apparently I did. Didn't
well, no, I mean the shop, the guy who laid into you. Well, and then he just lights up when he's walking away, or he's got a cigar in his mouth the whole time.
That's fine because, like I said, he was an adult.
Yeah,
give me my 2 12-year-olds out there thinking we're cool to an audience of nobody. So I don't know who the hell we were trying to impress, but
you're just experimenting, trying it. Okay, they're like, oh, let's try this. I got a pack. And you're probably like, oh, this tastes like ass.
No, it's a cigarette, so it tastes like ash. See what they did there.
Only when they're in comics.
Yes. Well, I know nobody came to hear my childhood stories. Helen, I know everybody's just waiting for Zach to get here because Zach equals ratings.
And this has been 20 minutes with Breen. When Breen was a boy.
Oh, come on. Black Cat, you can do better than that. That isn't even That wouldn't even be worthy of your competitor.
Wait. If they haven't, how? Oh, oh my gosh. All
Like I
right.
said, as much as he makes me laugh, I got to call him out. I said, I need better out of you. I don't have that much time, remember? Okay.
All right. So number 6 books. Because I won the. Yeah, I only had 6 this week, plus a magazine and some back issues. So number 6 this week is the final issue of The Last Barbarians. This is by Brian Hamberlin. And
is that a man or a woman on the cover?
that is a woman.
Good Lord.
Painted.
Wow.
Why? Bad or good?
No, it's a man's face, a man's chest.
It's Mila Jovovich, okay?
Hey, Mila Joe, whateverovich has a rack. That's just wow. That's
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not to be sexist or whatever, but that's
Yeah,
not.
like I said, this
good.
is. I know this wasn't be your kind of book. This has kind of that funky art and like
No, I actually like that.
Yeah. To me, it felt a little flat, but it's basically a brother and a sister who got caught up in this thing. They find out this kid has powers, and the guy they're working for, they're gonna like sacrifice the kid to some ancient demon that's at a shrine. They end up saving the kid, and pretty much, they end up going. They basically started off the way they started off. They started off poor because when they first started off, they were poor. They're getting banned from the what you call it, the guild they had back in the day.
Poor to afford breasts, apparently.
Huh. Wow, this is actually a much older drawing of her because she's only like 14 or 15 in there, 16. Like this.
Well, then anyway.
Yeah.
Ask Maranya if she brought enough sloppy joes for the stream. God, I haven't had a sloppy joe in years.
Stand for the Indian national anthem. What? It's daytime here. I don't think it's daytime there. Then again, it could be in the morning. But yeah. So like I said, this wasn't really my cup of tea. Or as far as I do like kind of like bard stuff, but or barbarian stories. For me, the art was a little wonky. Like I said, that's your brother on the left. He's kind of like after their village attack, he was just kind of like retarded. I'd say.
I mean, it's a little light on backgrounds, but the face is
due to a spell. He lost his intelligence, and she's been taking care of him. I think it's very much of mice and men. So they're siblings. And then you got the evil wizard, and then they said they got the companion they're traveling with, and they basically wanted to sacrifice the kid. This kid, for whatever reason, they call him Malcolm because they give him a name, has these incredible powers. There's this plague that's going around. That's where people attach you become part of the Black Plague. These like zombies, hordes. It's like I said, it's very 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 RPG stuff. So because north to south, the ceremony, I love how she basically goes back and gets the ogre from the very beginning, troll, and has him like basically pick up the guy and throw him around. Promises a meal. But overall, this is I guess it's issue number 6, I believe. It doesn't say on this inside, but issue number 5. I think there's gonna be more of it, and this is really weird for me. This is Image. I can't really see Image doing barbarian stuff. Maybe it's especially this is a new thing. I don't think they've done it in the past. Have you heard of anything? There's not usually a Dark Horse thing.
No, it's
with like medieval fantasy and all that stuff.
I've never really paid attention to who's doing what these days in comics.
But overall, like I said, it says for Shadowline, Jim Valentino is and then and then Image is Eric Stevenson. But
good Lord, they are still there.
Apparently so.
I'm pretty sure those guys were there not too long after they were founded.
Yeah, Shadowline, which is run by Jim Valentino and Image Eric Stevenson. This is a Shadowline production. Now, like I said, I don't know how much they're involved with those companies still. I thought Eric Larson was running everything, but like I said, this really feels like a video game. They decided to turn it into a comic book. If you play Dragon Age, it's kind of the same kind of feeling, same kind of story. This felt, like I said, the ending kind of felt a little bit flat for me, but like I said, hope flat.
Let's see what you did there.
Overall, like I said, it's okay.
Now, when
It's
you
not
can
very
look closely at the face, it does look better. But from a distance, that looks like a man's jawline. But
Yeah.
the closer the look, the more feminine her face becomes.
Yeah, for me, yeah. It's, you know why? Because you're so used to everything else you've been seeing lately for the past 10 years. Celebrities that aren't really women.
No.
But right. So that was my number 6. My number 5 this week is Guardians of the Galaxy. Issue number 3. This is becoming it's for Jackson. It's his Lansing and Kelly doing this, and this is a really dark version of the Guardians of the Galaxy, of these Guardians. Basically, Quill is basically going to take part of his I guess Spartia or Spartax. He's from Spartia, his planet, and they want to do a hunt, like a royal
What's with
hunt.
that hair?
Yeah, I know. I don't
Are you
care.
kidding me?
Yep.
Jesus.
Yes. Overall, the art was really kind of wonkiness, but basically they're going around hunting stuff and they come across what looks like a Groot. Because in this one, Groot is pretty much, they don't know why, but he's been going around and just attacking worlds and stuff. Rocket we still don't know what happened to Rocket. Wow, it still happened though, but all we know is, but I'll tell you what this does. This deals with bigotry because this guy here, on my right hand, in the middle, he pretty much just wants to kill everything. He's high tidy, class, more, upper class. So, and he's just killing all these animals and all this stuff. And Drax takes offense to that. Groot ends up actually grabbing Quill, and they actually have a conversation for once. They see him, he's kind of, and they end up talking to each other, and then that guy from before ends up killing the Groot, and it's pretty much straight up like kind of horror or dark, very, very dark. But at the end, though, what's really threw me off is that Quill goes back out of the ship and then fires his gun and destroys them, kills them all for killing the Groot thing.
Oh, cool. So no next issue.
So no, he kills the Spartia guys.
Oh, I thought he killed everything.
No, but
why you tease me like that?
No, why you tease you like that?
So yeah, real quick. Yeah, Black Casper. Yeah, Valentino was one of the original 7. He was the guy they got because they knew he would actually wake up in the morning on time, do the bookkeeping, and he was like the adult in the room. I'd forgotten that was basically what he was there for in day one, and he's still there.
Valentino?
Yeah. Because he didn't have the cachet, the art cachet of the rest of the guys there. He was the artist on Guardians of that in the 90 series initially.
Yeah. There's something he said in here that was pretty much, I forgot what it was, but if I come across it again, but the guy asked Quill or something, and it's something that was a quote and it actually was from Marvel Premiere 4 that he once asked, but I don't see it in here. But overall, like I said, I don't know where this is going. It just seems like it's just getting worse and worse as far as not only storytelling, but also what is Quill's just killing people now. I mean, I guess going to make him villains, sure.
He's quilling people.
Drax called the guy a bigot. I was like, what? Drax? That's a big word for Drax. My number 3 book of this week. Sorry, actually, that was my number 5. So this is my number 4. Number 4 of the week is Batman: A Generation Joker, number 2. This, now, hopefully Ash isn't watching, because I'm going to spoil a little bit, or else you guys don't want me to. But the art in here has been getting better. I'm not a fan of Mirka and Delpho, but as of the cover, we get Harley is basically confronted by the other Harley Quinn, the one that posed her to try to do basically pretend she was Joker mistook her for being Harley Quinn, and so she went there, and she's the one that has their lesbian relationship with Ivy, not Harley Quinn. And
yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care either. Like I said, I just don't give a shit about that anymore. But anyway, they trap Harley because Harley's looking for her kids. Her kids are basically, last time she saw them, they were basically being abducted by, I guess they'd left in one of the Batmobiles. And Jack Napier, basically, the device hologram, which is deteriorating. Hold on. He is here. Finally. The ratings,
baby.
Yes.
I made it.
That's perfect.
So
What's that?
It's like, music has The Weeknd. We have the ratings.
yes, so it is weird seeing Jon Stewart without his ring in this world, because this is an Elseworld. This is Murphyverse. Diana works at the FBI, and Jon Stewart is her partner, and they're tracking down because they want to recover basically the data drive that Jack Napier's hologram personality is stored on. Meanwhile, Napier is trying to basically show his kids, because he's afraid they're going to turn out to be like he is, even though he's a digital copy. He's not the real Joker. But and they end up being confronted by Joker goons. They end up chasing them in the Batmobile. And I'm going to say, because this is really heavy us from Batman Beyond still. It's Batman White Knight, but it's still the Batman Beyond version. There was, after Joker is dead, there was Joker gangs. And there was a Royal Flush gangs. There's all different gangs based off Batman's villains. Joker's being one of them, the main threats. They end up chasing the Batmobile. And so it's funny because the daughter she's still short enough. She can't reach the pedal. So the brother reaches down, pushes his hand on the pedal in order to drive the Batmobile. But they end up crashing it. And at the end, they end up telling the brother Bryce, he's like, you know what, here, they're gonna attack us unless you tell him. He's like, and she's like, don't, no. It's like, you know where we are? We're the Joker kids. And then they all kind of just bow down to them at the end of this. There is one character here. I'm trying to find where he is. I think it's this one. Bruce. Was it this one? Zach, did you read this?
What's that? Generation Joker? Yeah, sure did.
Trying to find the scene. Trying to find the scene with Bruce.
It's somewhere in the middle of the book, I think.
Yeah. There's a scene here with Bruce Wayne, and we get another character that pops up. Oh, I don't see it. Drive me nuts. Just when I want to find it, and I can't find it. But we get to see another character pops here too. That was really cool. Right here, at the bottom here, we can see it's Bruce Wayne and Wally West. He ends up giving him a nerve pinch, knocking him out. But
I have a question.
Yeah.
When did 3/4 of new comics adopt Dragon Ball Z hair?
Well, when Mirka Andolfo started drawing this,
Well, I mean, the book before that.
well,
Yeah,
that was also Brad
Quill
Hampton.
had Dragon Ball Z hair. What the?
First of all, the fact that you watch Dragon Ball Z,
No, I've seen pictures.
sure,
And I'm gonna no,
for 30 minutes, and they yelled, "Ah!"
Nah, that's
Powered up.
I was more of a. I'm not gonna say what I was more.
But the other cool thing is here too is that they also show up in the corner here, and they're talking about basically. Well, they don't actually show. They can't really see here, but it's supposed to be Superman. They're listing all the powers he has on the Bat computer. You know, so eventually Superman and Batman are going to cross over in this world, but there's no Justice League. The only one that actually had powers, actually didn't have. Actually, nobody's displayed powers as far as we know. John Stewart here could have the ring, could have powers, or maybe he hasn't got the ring yet. Diana Prince could have powers, and she hasn't displayed it. Wild West, we haven't seen any powers. Bruce was able to pinch and knock him out. But I don't know. I'm intrigued because this is a different. This is a better universe than what Tom Taylor did with Deceased. Don't you look at me like that, Mr. Ratings?
I didn't look like nothing.
Yeah, stay like that way.
Don't you be giving a hard time to the ratings there. That's my boy.
That's right.
Have to.
Actually agreed on something. I was shocked.
It's a brave new world.
Number 3, Superman. Number 5.
Nice. I love
this.
that.
Really felt Silver Age.
Hey, show me Jimmy's stupid hair.
Hey,
Look, it's Dragon Ball Jimmy.
Leave Jimmy Olsen alone.
He's got stupid hair.
Jimmy Olsen was great.
He's got stupid hair.
I'm gonna bring the bow ties back out.
Look at that.
In motion.
He's got an asparagus patch on his head, top of his head. He's got shaved side of his head. He's a lesbian.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I just can't with you anymore. It's like Zach when Zach puts his hair in gels.
Look, I'm gonna bring back the bow ties, and I'm gonna look like Jimmy Olsen. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna increase the ratings even more.
And you and Silver Banshee, you're gonna go shopping for clothes together at the same place.
Yep. She's Scottish, right? I like girls with Scottish accents. Yes, please, and thank you.
Oh my gosh, the scene here is I love the hair. Is when they talk about how they first met.
Oh yeah, when they show how they met, yeah. I thought that was cool.
Yeah. It was funny because, like, you know, they showed them, like, you know, how when they first met, they actually they went on a date and everything, and it was pretty cool. Like, and she had a bow tie as well.
But no, she didn't have a bow tie. He was wearing a bow tie. She liked bow ties because they're old-fashioned.
No, right here, upper right corner, and right there.
Oh, well, that's okay. Well, I missed the tiny corner thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So
that was kind of cute though.
I was like, she found she likes bow ties. She wears with him too. I was like, wow. But they were roommates, and then he says I love you, and then she says I love you back. You know, happy couple.
Aww.
Too late. Tucker Carlson did that a decade ago with bow ties.
No, Matt Smith did it way before Tucker Carlson did.
Tucker Carlson's been around before Matt Smith.
No, I don't think so. I didn't know who Tucker Carlson was till
Tucker's been around before Fox News.
Yeah, I didn't know who he was though.
Well, that's just because you're ignorant.
Okay, sure.
You're focusing on the wrong ratings there. You're focusing on the Doctor Who ratings. My number 2 book, and man, sorry, Skip. It's my number 2. It is just an awesome book. Always.
Is Skip here? Is he in the chat?
No, but if he was,
got excited.
And this I love because this is a wraparound cover, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Now this was $9. Well worth it for me. You see some of the art here in the background. The maker, I don't know. I guess he's gonna make something finally. Live up to his name. He wants to rebuild the universe. But holy crap! That opening sequence of this. If you have not read this, you might want to stop watching it a second because I'm gonna spoil the.
It is
pretty
incredible. I thought
these group of you're introduced to these group of soldiers like or like what are they going? They're gonna rob a bank or whatever. They go in there and they're like, why are they going to this building? And they talk about there's like this armed soldiers and there's a RPG launcher and stuff. Nobody knows what's going on. As far as the reader, you just know that they're going in there. They're gonna talk about a heist. They fire what looks like a black hole device, which sucks for anybody who's in there. They go up to the elevator and they're like, "What's going on here?" And on the elevator, it's just like, and then it says because they type in the code, it says, "Okay, type it in there," and it's like 1610. Now, I want to point out that there is let me just put the tag on there so people know. He's a naked man. We don't know why, but all I know is that the code was 1610.
that's the number that the Ultimate Universe was.
Exactly. And I've never seen his face. I'm like, damn, does he look good for Reed Richards? No beard.
Well, he's younger.
How much younger?
Well, the Ultimate Fantastic Four were teenagers.
Yeah.
So.
But he just goes, he's like, I heard you guys and stuff. He's like, but yeah, whatever the other guy. Well, he flaked out. He didn't want to do the business. So we got to get this guy. He's like, okay, whatever. He's like, come here for a second. And he basically pushes his button on this device right here. And I got shocking. This is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. They start dissolving and then turning into a copy of him. They merge their bodies. So then you see here on the side, that's what they look like after they merge. The most horrific thing I've ever seen. Imagine that in the MCU. That would give you nightmares. Seeing that actually done on the big screen. Screams. And that's how it starts. Him walking out and this goes right here. Only for the very first issue because it's oversized. Then it drops down to normal price. But it's Jonathan Hickman, Brian Hitch. And I honestly, I never knew that Black Panther had his own White Panther team.
Oh yeah.
That just seems kind of weird. Black Panther runs all the other White Panthers. You do my work, White Panthers. I don't know. But they basically read it and you get to see Reed and T'Challa have their own little discussion here. And T'Challa's like, you don't know what this building is here, what it was in there. And he's like, do you? He's like, no. He's like, but I've been trying to be nice, not the pride of things, even though I want to, my curiosity. He's like, I've been trying to be good. And he's like, and he said, if I miss it, T'Challa's it's like, yeah, I kind of have idea what's in here, but I'm not gonna poke around. And then when they come across that, what's supposed to be, they're like, oh, the Maker, he's still here. Nope, that just melts to a puddle. Like I said, this is like a sci-fi horror book so far. As I know you'll have a lot to talk about because I hope you got this book because if you didn't,
oh yeah,
you're not
cool. Of course I did.
The only thing that ruins this,
my Twitter review.
So the only thing that ruins this is not the Illuminati, but the freaking little Charles Xavier back with the dome on his head.
I mean, what'd you expect?
Not Toadstool. Because I've always said, why is Charles Xavier basically like this world's 616's version of the Maker? Another thing I said. But basically, we get to see it's a heist thing. The whole entire book is setting up for the whole story is that the Makers go around stealing things from different parts of the world, building a device. They're all concerned. They don't know what he's doing. And then they go to confront him, and he basically says, Reed, how do you think you can stop me if you don't even know what I'm doing? And Reed's like, we'll find you and stuff. He's like, by the time you find me, it'll be like it could be 10 to 100 years by the time you find out what I'm doing. You're be able to reach where I am. And like I said, I'm loving the art. Marina H. art is just awesome in this. I don't like the Makers thing though. It's like I get flashbacks to the Crystal Skull aliens every time I see that helmet. But overall, it's pretty cool for me because I get the group shot at the end here. But I'll save the end as far as the epilogue. Honestly, it's really cool. And we have. Sorry, Zach, you're no longer the ratings. We have Douglas Ernst.
What?
What's up, man?
How much?
Yeah, I won't be ratings either because I have nothing to add to this conversation of value. I didn't want you to think I was snubbing you. I saw your link and I was like, man, if I don't come in after I'm done exercising, he's gonna think I'm snubbing.
No. Like
nothing to add to this conversation. What a perfect place to be. You're one of 4.
I really just wanted a front row seat to the show, so I cut in front of everybody who's in the chat.
I want to point out, I sent a link to Frugal, no word.
He got tired. He was here for a couple of weeks, and he's like, these guys.
You got dissed by Frugal, man.
I gotta say this though, you have everything as much as anybody else to add value to this conversation because you are a comic book fan. You're also a comic book writer, so you may not be reading the new stuff, but you have insight on stuff that you like, and what you don't like.
I would send him new stuff if I wasn't afraid you'd eat pizza while reading it.
That's true. My comic shop actually closed down, and it was next to the pizza place. So I haven't been doing any pizza and comics because literally the comic shop closed down. So they said they're looking for a new place. It was like a lease issue. So if they ever open up again, then I'll be going back. But yeah, I haven't been eating a lot of the pizza there lately.
I mean, you can also just take old comics that we've never seen before, that you have.
That's true. I am eating pizza tomorrow night. So we'll see.
No one's going to know if you bought it recently or you bought it like 3 years ago.
It's homemade pizza tomorrow. So we'll see. Maybe I'll do pizza and comics.
Besides, you don't want to eat pizza next to a Zeb Wells Spider-Man.
That's the acceptable comic to eat.
That's acceptable. I'd be afraid the pizza would get contaminated by the book.
Did Dan Slott Spider-Man issues come with pizza stains?
Ouch.
They have the napkins too.
I think he used to talk about going out to eat to Chinese restaurants and stuff like that. So maybe some like General Chow's chicken.
Was it Chinese? It's probably like those Chinese buffets. You try a buffet, where you eat as much as you can.
Please don't bring that up right now. That was me about 8 hours ago, and I'm still suffering.
Oh,
you're with Dan Slott?
I probably out-ate Dan Slott today.
Chinese buffets will do that to you.
Yes, they will.
It's always a gamble because I'm like, is this fresh or is this too fresh? Well, when I see the fish still flopping, I figure that's good eating, right? The octopus is still moving. Tentacles.
No.
Can't get any fresher than just eating it alive.
Right. There is one series that I don't recommend, and it's my number one. Doug, I don't know how much you've been watching it tonight, but World's Finest has been my favorite book. Other than the Flash with Jeremy Adams, but Jeremy Adams stepped away. But I said it's Mark Waid's writing, but it's not Mark Waid the personality, as he is on Twitter and everybody else. I said he's been writing Silver Age, and not only we get the Metal Men, we get we've had a Mazo, we've had what's his name here too, Metamorpho. It's just been a fun book. It takes place in Silver Age when Dick Grayson was Robin, and they're not really changing anything. It's like people are like, whatever. They always hear that people are like, "Oh, look at Marvel. They're doing the throwbacks. They're just the throwback books. They're just retconning everything." Not really. They're just writing something that takes in between the main events, the big huge events, which a lot of Spider-Man books were pretty much were before the main event stories. Some of them were 2 to 3 issues long, but you still had a subplot going on. But a lot of them were just standalone issues. But overall, I do like the fact that they actually they remembered, hey, it's Silver Age, so we have Barry Allen as a Flash in this book, and this is Dan Moore's art. So I mean, you can appreciate.
God, that's so clean looking.
I know, right?
Man,
it's one of the reasons I've really come to appreciate this. As far as I first discovered Dan Moore's art when I was reading 2019. They had Boom Studios got the rights to Buffy the Vampire Slayer from Dark Horse, so I wanted to check it out because it's like a reboot. Okay, I figured out what's going on. Dan Moore was doing the art. I was like, holy crap! And like, I've never seen the Dark Horse original stuff. Like Breen was telling me about the season 11, whatever it was. When they first started.
No, when they first started doing it, they were like taking place at the same time as the series. And the first series was really good. I recommend that.
Yeah, the art though, you said it basically
the art was like, tremendous. And then at some point, they hired George Gentry. He made everybody look like they were 11, which was really weird.
So Dan Moore, when he was drawing Sarah Michelle Gellar character, it looked just like the actress. Same with the guy, all the actors on your Angel, all that stuff. And then as soon as he left, I was like, "What the hell happened?" It looked like somebody just like, and hey, 5-year-old kid, come here, draw this with crayons. And they're like, and that kid drew it better than the person it was hired. But yeah, like I said, if you're looking for something just to catch up on, just standalone issues or just series, World's Finest. Mark Waid's has been fun. Joshua Williamson, he had a run before this, Batman Superman World's Finest, and that was pretty cool too. But this is just all cool Silver Age hijinks. So I'm not sure how much of a DC fan you are. I know you like Spider-Man, but
yeah, no, I think I was seeing on Englantine's stream a few weeks ago or whatever it was, where I started to collect DC for the first time in my life, really when Super Sons kicked off. And I really liked it a lot. And then I liked Superman. And then when what's-his-face Bendis came over, I jumped ship because I knew that he was going to poison everything. And I was like, I want nothing to do with this. So, yeah, I mean, if they're returning to form with this sort of stuff, and if Mark Waid is buckling down and actually, trying to separate his activist self from his writerly self, like that's a good sign.
Yeah. And I said, this is issue 16 of the consecutive greatness. And it's not boggled down by the whatever events they're doing, like they're going to be doing.
Yeah, it's odd, Doug. There seems to be some kind of civil war going on at DC. There's people that are trying to produce good comics, and then there are people that are just using it as a way to be activists. Mark Waid has found himself on the do good comics side of it.
Yeah, he's on. If Engeltine does the Spirit Awards, Mark Waid's on the Spirit Awards.
Which, considering 5 years ago, what he was doing with Queasy and what Ojima Jeffo, or whatever his name was, it's a nice about face for Waid at this stage of his career.
Yeah, no, and I don't know if it has something to do with like who's in the White House or not. They seem to their blood pressure goes down, and they could just sort of concentrate, and they're like, okay, the world is right again. So now I could concentrate on just telling good stories, or if it's just maybe he had some sort of epiphany and was just like, you know what, maybe I am at my best when I'm just trying to knock off the activist stuff and just focus on the craft of storytelling. I don't know which one.
He was required to do so many community service of activism, and now he's done with that. Now he can go back to doing what he wanted to do. I don't know.
He's not 100% in the head, I don't think, and I think that's why you always it's been 16 great issues, but even that long in, you're wondering, is the other shoe about to drop? Not in his work, but are we going to find out that he went and kicked all the desks over at the DC offices and sent Marie Javins Black Roses? So it's just, it's like at this point, because when we talk about how much we're liking a Waid book, it's almost like we have to qualify with, this isn't the Mark Waid we knew from before. This is good Mark Waid, because he's built up that much ill will in his career that it's like you're never going to trust him 100%.
Yeah, I mean, Jeremy Adams was always talking about, he would not breaking, but he was always saying about, and he had a dinner with Mark Waid discussing the Flash stuff, because Mark Waid is the one that introduced the kids. Well, these kids, Jai and Ira. So of course he wanted to get involved in for the questions and all, inspirational. And honestly, Jeremy Adams is not the kind of guy who basically praises people, or like, if you're a jerk, he's gonna say something. I don't think he's the kind of person who's gonna roll over and be Holly weird. From what I've seen, he goes to church. He has 2 little girls. Stuff. He's never really on there on virtue signaling or doing all that crap on Twitter. He just talks about the books he loves, and he's always on different YouTube channels talking in interviews, talking about stuff.
He's a breath of fresh air in this industry, and I think you should reach out to him. I think you would probably come on, because you guys have said a lot of really nice things about him. And I said I agree. He's a tremendous writer.
It's what you want. I mean, honestly, it's if you are a writer or even a fan, it's kind of interaction you always hope you have. When you're younger, like you meet your heroes. He's the person that you'd want to be your hero, because he's the person that's going to treat you like you'd expect to, be. Unless you're like stalkerish, then you're like, he shouldn't go near you. But I got two more things. At least I did get back issues, coming out. There was this isn't a back issue, but this is Vampirist Carmilla. If you are a fan of the original Warren Vampirellas, this is basically Warren, I should say. I think it is now. Is it Warren or Warrant's doing it? This is Warrant. It's Warren magazine. And it's basically Vampirella stories. Well, Vampirella is the host, but it's Vampirella. So they call her Carmilla for legal reasons. But you get all the black and white and all the stories you got back in the day. And different artists. And I really dig this stuff. And it's actually on newspaper. It's not colored or waxed or like the kind of like glossy paper. And then because they have to every creepy classics stuff you can order through here, which is really cool.
Yeah, apparently a lot of the fossils get that Monster Bash, I think it is.
Monster Bash.
Yeah, they say that actually captures the spirits of like the famous monsters of filmland. So they're doing everything right now.
Yeah, for that art museum. This, like I said, if you're looking for old school kind of like horror stuff, that's where you're going to go to. Now, another new thing I actually got out this week was and it's has the great one.
Mark Levin?
No.
He's the one that calls himself the great one, though.
Wrong venue.
I mean, if you want to call me the great one, I'll start calling you Mr. Producer.
No, I'm not producing nothing. You're Mr. Producer more than I am. Oh, you got the new one.
Yes, with who?
Black Panther. Oh, okay.
Yeah, after you get past those 2 has-beens on the top row.
Yeah, right. Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, never heard of him.
That's Disney legend, Jack Kirby.
Oh, man.
Yes, number 78, 82, 84, 86, 88, 90, 92, 94. And it looks like, the non-Brack Eck, number 2. So I wonder why they skipped over things, but maybe because they weren't Iron Man stuff.
No, each issue were split between Cap and Iron Man, so Cap was in all those issues.
Okay, but this is what I got it for. The Cosmic Cube.
It's so tiny.
I know, right?
The power of the sun in the palm of my hand.
I'm just glad I've never heard of that, though.
What?
Never mind.
Oh.
But Little Master books, man. These are only what?
Those are fun.
$16.
$16, and you get like what, 9 or 10 issues a book?
Yeah, 9. Oh, wait, what is it, Zach?
What?
How many do you say?
9 or 10?
Well, not 10. What's the other one you said?
9?
There you go.
Okay.
Zach is our resident German.
Yep.
I'm not even part German.
But you got. I was.
Norwegian.
Do you want to
Sprechen
go?
Sie Deutsch?
No, actually, I had a friend. So I was homeschooled. I had another friend who was homeschooled, and he took German as the second language, like elective language. It's like, why take German? Why not Spanish or French? Because those are the two big ones down here. You have Spanish.
Well, that's
and French.
easy for you to say because you were already speaking it fluently.
Do you guys want to show off your books first? You want me to finish with my back issues?
Go ahead, throw your back out. Then
All
I
right.
can get through all my books without.
Finally got this in.
Oh,
Yeah. So Kirkman.
that's huge.
Soft cover. So
Nice.
I'm surprised it was actually soft cover. Usually these things are like hardcover, like all the compendiums, but this one decided to do.
I had a Walking Dead one that was a paperback.
Yeah, it's just got some weight to it.
That's all in color too.
Collects Invincible presents Adam Eve 1 and 2. Invincible presents Adam and Eve Rexplode 1 through 3. Guarding the Globe 1 through 6. Guarding the Globe Volume 2 1 through 6. And then Invincible Universe 1 through 12. It's got some weight to it. So glad that finally came in. And then I also got the new issue of Walking Dead. Well, the new colored issue. So I really do hope they continue this. Actually, after to me, that'd be the most awesome thing. Everybody knows, it's over. They're reprinting the colors. If they just kept going, but they probably won't, though. Who knows? He's having fun with Skybound right now. But all right. Here's the fun ones, and these are 50 cents.
What? 50 cents for Teen Agents.
Kurt Busiek, John Beatty, new books, and it comes with the trading cards.
Ah, nice. I've gotten like really into those old school trading cards recently. Like if I find them in an old Marvel 90s book or something, I'm like, yes.
But it's not done yet. I got one more.
Nice.
I mean,
Look at the people on that book.
yeah. Donnie Heck,
Oh yeah,
Jerry,
your boy,
you know?
Jerry Conway.
Roy Thomas too. This one does not have the cards in the back, unless they're somewhere. But
I said I'll never try to take Jerry Conway's contribution from comics away from him, regardless of how he's behaving now.
and then it gets even better because I wasn't expecting this. Brubaker Apting, issue 26,
Nice.
50
Very
cents for this one.
Awesome.
And here's number 28 for 50 cents.
Ah,
So, and here's the other cool thing too I saw here. 600. Oversized issue for 50 cents.
nice.
Yep. And then these are all in order. I don't know why you didn't. Here. Yeah. That's the one thing. When you give like the shop owner, you give your books in order, and then they mess them up when they ring them up. And they're like, "Why? I just had them on order." Drives me nuts every single time. But so I have some more Brubaker books for 50 cents. Number 2, Sleeper, for 50 cents.
Oh,
Then I have number 5 for 50 cents. And then then we get the cool factor. because I was talking to Breen about some of these, and then Breen actually had two of them before he was talking what he was reading before we went live. It's 487. Fetches Superman.
Zach, that'd be post-crisis Superman to you and me.
Ordway and Grummet.
I'm sorry. Let me take a drink real quick.
All right, and then 502.
Oh, nice. Put boy meets girl, even though they're kind of sort of related.
Well, that's not true. He's a clone. She's protoplasm.
Who is he a clone of though? Her cousin. Oh, that's right. This is the Matrix Supergirl.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Carl
That's right.
Castle and Grummet again. This is 505. All right, and then we get to 518.
Kurt Russell.
Yes, Kurt Russell's on here. 545. And then we go to 681. And to 687. Stern, guys, awesome. 688. $6.90. These are all 50 cents. I was just happy. $6.92. And then this is 7. Jump ahead to 75. So, but I said, look at the advertising on the back. These are cool. Nerds. They like
Nerds.
Like I said, I love a lot of this stuff. Like you look at some of like the ads on the back, and they're just fun. You know, back in the day, like this is Smash TV. You remember that stuff for the VCR games? And then, anybody ever have these? The bark root beer. I guess it looks like body art or tattoos. Weird. I don't know, but that's what I got for comic books this week. But let's go next.
Zach, do you mind if I plow through mine real quick?
Go ahead. I wait with bated breath
Sure you do.
after hearing about one book that you said was good.
That's
Remember
true.
what- Remember when Boy Meets Girl happened? Elton Sartwich and goes over.
Now, Zach, you can't be sure yet that there's not a swerve coming.
I look. I always expect a swerve.
No.
Whose house?
Okay. All right. Well, okay. A couple things I said to back Venkman. I also picked up Vampir's Carmilla. Zach, do you get this book?
I do not. I'm not a big vampirist horror comic guy.
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand you with all the apple on your face.
All the apple on my
That's
face.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. For
That's
those
disgusting.
you don't know, our boy Zach, he is.
See, that'd have been better if you had a Carlito one to throw up there.
That was such a gross gift. Too.
Did you pick this up, Venk?
Ooh,
I
that's
forgot
cool. Oh, that's cool. I love those kinds of covers.
I missed this yesterday. I found it. I saw it today. Luckily, it hadn't sold out.
Oh man, I kind of want to look for that. That's a cool looking cover. I love those, like where you have to look and find the different characters. I like those.
Hey, there's Waldo. Okay. These are in no particular order. Red Zone number 4 is basically this whole 4-issue series takes place over a night or two. This lady asks an old friend of hers to help to get her daughter out of Russia. Then the place where they are gets attacked and she's killed, and he escapes with her daughter. And it's basically a chase from that, and then basically every old KGB assassin is coming after him, and I swear to God, one of them is Carol Burnett.
Oh my lord! You just kind of expect her to tug her ear or
Yeah.
something. Like, wow,
That's-
that's creepy.
I said I noticed that instantly, and I know that was by design.
That has to be. That's too uncanny.
But yeah, he eventually gets away, and the final person, he gets the drop on him, but he doesn't kill him. And the guy says, "You're not going to kill him." And he goes, because he'd become a college professor, and he was just real, it's a real boring life. He goes, "I haven't felt this alive in years. This was fun. Maybe he'll do it again sometime." But he ends up getting the girl. He said, and for not killing you, you're going to let us leave, whatever. So he gets the girl out of there, and of course, the twist that Stevie Wonder saw coming, it actually is his daughter. So she said, the mother said it wasn't, but it turns out it was. So it's kind of like a quasi happy ending.
If Carol Burnett could be an assassin, I want the Brady Bunch to be a family assassins.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I wanna
Marsha,
read that
Marsha,
elsewhere.
Marsha. She's always stealing all the kills. Marsha. Sure, Jan.
Superman #5, Jimmy's stupid hair notwithstanding. Very enjoyable. For people that have waited for Lex to get his comeuppance, this might be as close as you're ever going to get. But, won't say more than that.
Does it feel a little bit like post-crisis now that the other super freaks aren't there?
No, it does. It's different. Here's one that me and my new pal, the ratings, agreed on. I expected second issue in that he would Tom Taylor all over this, and that this would be my last issue. I actually thought this was noticeably better than issue 1.
I thought so too.
I've heard some grousing about finding out that Nightwing has contingency plans for all of them. Of course he does. He was trained by the Batman, but I like what he said. He goes, "Of course I do, but I have no intention of hiding any of it from you."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's kind of the difference between them.
He pointed out because you guys are all these powerful. Why would I not have them?
If Tom Taylor could just get over his obsession with income equality, because, hey, Tom, your side has the money now. It's okay to be rich. You like the rich now. It's because this was very good. I mean,
Brother Eternity, nice spin.
Yeah, I mean,
all religion is corruptible.
Okay, well, that's that's comics.
Yeah,
I know, but I was like, that's brother love.
Number 1 book of the week, World's Finest.
Ooh, wow.
I'm sorry, World's Finest.
I was gonna say, what good variant is that?
I was like, we missed that one.
This is the Batmite and Mr. McPickle variant from 1960.
I was gonna say, if they had that variant for like 1 in 50, I'd probably pay it for this for the 1 in 50.
This is just a lot of fun, and it's just like this was a lot of fun. So
it's the same feeling to me.
Yeah, even though they were published 63 years apart, this is World's Finest. Again, like I said, when I was buying comics in the 80s, buying 30 titles a week or whatever, you didn't have to go very far to find something like this. And it's a shame that this kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. I mean, not that there aren't other good books, but this just feels, like it's time displaced. And I wish we would get more. I wish we could get more of that.
I am curious to see what books are the highest number selling copies at DC Comics right now.
Not that, unfortunately.
Which, because that should. Along with Green Arrow and Green Lantern.
But as I pointed out, I think it might have been on one of the things I did with Wes, that the people that would like this are the people that Marvel and DC have tried actively to get rid of for years. So there aren't that many of them left to find this.
Yeah. Same with the Wally West ones, you've got Breen, you are a rare breed that you're still around.
Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, there was a period of time where I was collecting like every single Spider-Man book, Iron Man, Daredevil, what is it, like X Factor, X-Men, Wolverine, Fantastic Four, like all of these books simultaneously, and then like special books that would randomly come out, and just like dropping serious amounts of change on it.
Yeah.
And like you said, they actively tried to be like, you know what, we don't need you anymore. And I was like, okay, well, see you later.
Honestly, giving us the ability to basically to have internet so we can communicate with each other, and especially with your Kickstarter or GoFundMe, all the sites, it's so much easier now to basically create something that's, and if enough people like it, you can make a profit off it, or something. Like I said, but some people just make comic books because they want to. It's not a job to them. It's fun, honestly, I mean, obviously, yours is your side hobby, right? Because you have a main job, right? Just like Tim.
I actually quit my job at the newspaper just so I could do stuff with Iconic Comics.
Really?
Yep.
Nice.
I
thought you quit because you hate the paper.
It was a situation where I did the first two books. The second book retained the readers from the first one. And then I was like, oh, okay, well, if I could retain this amount of readers, then I could just do this. And then I got a new boss because my old boss went to Fox News Digital. And actually, I guess I could say that real quick. I actually tried to go to Fox News Digital, and they wanted me to stop doing the Soul Finder comic books. And I basically was like, I'm not doing that. So anyway, so then I got a new boss, and my new boss was a micromanager. And then I was just like, well, I'm out of here.
Yeah, I mean, because I know that Tim's always said, like, and say, he says, I have a day job. This is my hobby. I enjoy doing it. It's like, and he's like, well, I mean, I don't. If it became a full-time job, he said he'd probably hate it. So, I mean, obviously, good luck to you. This is your full-time job.
To me, I've just always been a writer by vocation. Yeah. So it's one of those things where as long as I'm writing, it doesn't matter whether it's blogging for a newspaper, whether it's fiction, whether it's nonfiction, I'll always be writing somewhere. And I said years ago to my wife, not that she would be too happy with this, I was like, I would go back to work when I was like in college. I was working at Target, the overnight shift. And it was like, if I went back to Target, I would still be writing on the side because that's just what I am. I'm a writer, and I would be happy doing that.
But would you at least move the onesies to the back of the store?
Yeah, the worst nights were when you had to do the women's underwear section, and I was like, I don't know all these different bra sizes. This is weird. It'll just put me in the dog food aisle and just like slinging 50-pound bags of dog food or whatever.
Right? Yeah, it's like, I hear you. Awkwardness and after that. Let's go to Zach.
That's why I worked in the food service industry. Now, I probably would trade that experience.
Zach, not. Come on, let's get this
that's
right.
The ratings. Oh.
No, that's the ratings.
I did shave, kind of just.
Holy crap! I didn't even notice that.
You were the one that brought it up last week.
I shaved too.
No, you didn't.
It's lovely, yeah.
Maybe you trimmed it. Okay. I got a few. I didn't get any back issues, but I did get some really good new ones. And I got a couple of. Yeah. Oh no, I did pull something working out earlier this week.
He's so old, isn't he, Breen?
Anyway, all right. First off, bottom of the list, I got Guardians of the Galaxy. This is volume number 3. I think you might have had a little more fun with this one than I did. I liked it.
The ending though was shocking. I was like, I did not expect that.
The ending was all right. When you said it was lit, I was like, "What is he talking about?" I had to go back and see what happened. Did I miss a page? It was all right. It was good. I'm not going to say it was bad. Overall, I did like I like that now they kind of are starting to get towards like the Groot fall, like what happened with Groot.
Still no Rocket.
I appreciate that. Next issue.
Yeah.
Next issue, Rocket Raccoon. So, but I liked it. I like that they kind of touched back on, hey, remember Peter? He's this exiled prince of Spartax, and Spartax is a bunch of idiots and morons. So I kind of like that they touched back on that.
It is kind of weird because I wasn't sure if they're going preachy or not with like where Drax calls you're a bigot, and then like
Spartax was they were like that. Like during Bendis's run, he made Spartax a bunch of
even in the cartoon they were dicks.
I refuse to watch the cartoon. That animation.
And the cartoon actually was based off the movies, and it was actually really good.
It looked boring. Earth's Mightiest Heroes was better.
All
right.
You know, that's what people say about our channel until they start watching it, right?
All right. We got Batman White Knight Presents Generation Joker. I got the Sean Gordon Murphy cover because you got to. I like it. I like that this is pretty much a continuation of the Batman Beyond story. Everything going on with the Joker's kids is cool. The stuff that I really like is the stuff with Diana Prince and Jon Stewart. They keep saying they keep referring this other project, which I'm hoping is Sean Gordon Murphy Justice League. I would love to read that. So, good story though. I thought this was just going to be a 2-issue miniseries. I guess it's a 3-issue because it says to be continued at the end.
Oh, only 3 issues? Okay.
Yeah, because the Red Hood one was a 2-issue one, so I guess I thought this one would be 2 issues.
Doug, this is another series you probably want to check out is the Sean Gordon Murphy verse. The
Murphy verse
White Knights
is good. It's some good stuff.
Murphy is a fan of all the Batman stuff, so he incorporated every single Batmobile that Batman's ever had in the movies and the shows into the comic book in the Batman.
He's just a master artist too. Like the way he incorporates the art and the storytelling, it's really good. All right, next up is Mighty Barbarians. This is issue number 3. This is from Ablaze Comics. They've been doing these fun homage covers based off all these other number ones. So they had a Justice League, they had an X-Men, and then this is their Justice League International homage. This has been my favorite one of the series so far. It's all these different warriors and barbarians from different dimensions.
Spider-Man for Spider-Verse.
No, because they're not all the same person. This is Morgan Le Fay getting these best of the best type barbarians to.
I was joking because the one guy has a spider on his chest.
Oh yeah, he's a shapeshifter guy. But yeah, this was actually my favorite issue so far. And there's dinosaurs involved, so of course it's my favorite one.
But you didn't get the Godzilla one, did you?
I did not pick up Godzilla. I did not.
Oh my gosh, I have to go back.
I saw
Frank Thierry did a Godzilla book, and it's set in the 1500s.
I saw you tweet about it. Yeah,
Sir Francis Drake, and I'm thinking
I'll look for it next week.
It is Pirates of the Caribbean meets Godzilla.
Yeah, I've been reading. They had the Kong War or Kong Great War or something. I got that one, the issue number 1, but I didn't see the Godzilla one. I did pick up this. This is next. This is Avengers number 2 from Jed McKay and CB Villa. This was better than the first issue as well. I like this one a lot better as well. This builds directly off of, remember that Kang the Conqueror one-shot McKay did last year?
Yeah.
This builds directly off of that. So Kang goes to the Avengers because he needs their help to defeat these guys that are trying to kill him. And he's like, to prove I'm on the up and up, I'm going to tell you how to save 1,000 people in the next 24 hours. And so it was really cool to see, some of it is like these big bombastic events. But then there's one, Sam Wilson actually stops this guy from driving a truck and he's like exhausted. I was like, oh, that's a clever approach.
But
I wouldn't have thought of that.
Don't they end up like ruining like space-time continuum by like using future knowledge to save?
Not in this one. Not in this issue.
Oh.
No, I don't think so. I mean, this is Kang.
I'm just saying. I used to watch a lot of Doctor Who, so all that.
Oh yeah. No,
so like, if he calls this, it caused a paradox, and it just people were meant to die. Fixed points.
Maybe they did talk. They do kind of tease like what McKay has in the works, talking about like these tribulation events, these like big mega disasters. So hope next issue will probably build off that more. I did like seeing that because I did like that it was called Timeless. I did like that one shot that he.
Doug, what do you think about Avengers Tribulation?
Like I said, I haven't been buying any comics since my comic shop.
I'm just saying the name alone. It just sounds really bad. Avengers Tribulation.
It's one of those. Sometimes with like names, even if they sound bad, it's like if the writing's good enough, it could somehow like magically make it good or something like that. So I sometimes hold off.
It doesn't sound worse than Galactic Storm. I mean, that sounds kind of dumb.
It's
but
like
then you read it and you're like, oh, it's actually cool.
It's like Revelations, Tribulations. Like I said, they start using Bible. So
They should have called it The Trouble with Tribulations.
I like that.
So you're 2 issues into the new Carol Corps, and you're liking it.
Carol was not in this. Carol was not in this book all that much, to be honest. She was at the end of it. It seemed like, but
wait, like Endgame?
No. At the okay. No, it wasn't bad. I really didn't hate it. Like I said, it was a good bit of action. Black Panther takes out a Hydra cell that's holding people hostage. Vision and Iron Man save an airplane. A lot of fun action. Them just handling different emergencies. It was good so far. Yeah, 2 issues in, I liked it. So.
Shouldn't Tony be busy getting ready for his wedding?
His wedding, yes.
Now, if you had a series called Avengers Maximum Tribulation or Extreme Tribulation, then I might be like, okay, that's suspect to me.
That sounds like something out of the 90s. Yeah. That sounds like a 90s event, which I would totally read.
You already had X-Men Genesis.
That's true.
So it's like
X-Men Genesis.
I just keep thinking it's like, what other books are they going to start quoting out of the chapters?
There was X-Men. I think there was an X-Men Exodus.
Well, yeah,
way back when Matt Fraction wrote it and they were on Utopia. I think there was an Exodus book.
Well, there was a bigger X-Men Exodus when Vita Ayala started writing it.
I'm sure there was a Rapture too.
Nah. All right. We are now in my top 5. So this is my number 5 book this week.
What?
I know RDV didn't pick this one up. This is
I gotta tell Ram V that it's only your number 5.
Hey, out of all the books, I had like 9 or 10 books that I got this week.
He's like Ram. He's like I kissed ass to Ram V, and he noticed me.
I didn't kiss ass. I commended him on a good book. I didn't even tag him.
You said I almost like this better than your detective book.
Yeah, because I did. Did you read this?
No, I did not read that. I read it.
Oh, then, okay. If you read this, you might.
I read the first issue and it didn't hook me.
Well, this continues to hook me. So this guy is like the main agent of the Vigil operation, and they give you a little bit of his background. Then they show him on this secret mission, this retrieval mission for the Vigil. They do some other stuff too. There's this big conspiracy. This guy, I think he works for LexCorp, is involved. It's just really, really good storytelling. The pacing that Ram V uses is great. Yeah. It's a great spy book. If you like spy books,
the impression I got from the first book is that they go around stealing technology, whether it's illegal or black market or not, and they what they deem who you're not allowed to have it.
Yeah, it's like Planetary, which is why I thought you would like this.
So if Bruce Wayne has technology and they decide, no, we're gonna take this, Bruce Wayne should kick the crap out of him.
Okay, except he hasn't. It's been Lex Luthor. Not even Lex Luthor.
It just sounds like criminals. You know what I mean?
Like Planetary. This is very much Planetary.
Planetary, they weren't heroes.
Yeah. So I think you would like it if you give it a second chance. I think you would like it. But anyway, I'm really loving this. I really, really hope this.
And now that's all that matters, Zach, is that you like it.
Yes.
And a billion other people like it too, so it stays in business.
Yes, please, a billion other people. Please like Ram V's writing.
If you can't behave yourselves, we're not going to have company over again, okay?
you know what? Keep it up, and there's no pudding for you. We had tapioca for night.
I did splurge this week. I did get a variant cover. I normally don't. But it's so good looking. I had to do it. Beast Boy is a dragon. Kinda. Titans number 2. I think it was better than the first issue. First of all, old boy over here, not dead. I actually liked the way they went about explaining it. About Wally not being dead and everything.
You see, my thoughts exactly, Rhaegar.
We don't need to know that.
You said you splurged a little bit.
Oh, the $1 for the variant cover. My goodness, Rhaegar. Get your head out of the gutter. I liked everything else about this. I like Nightwing again, like you said, Breen, him having contingencies, but then not keeping it secret though. I also, anytime I get to see like the friendship between Cyborg and Beast Boy on page, all of that was really good. Donna Troy being effectively like a field leader. Evil Black Cat, you should have stayed away. There you go. And then I also like the twist with Garth, because I thought it was really weird that they just showed him at the beginning of issue 1 and then that was it. So I like seeing him come back, and effectively it looks like he's a traitor, but we'll see. But yeah, so far 2 issues in, I'm shocked that I like this. So Tom Taylor's doing something, and then Nicholas Scott's art is also really, really good as well.
Yeah, I thought that about halfway through, when they were back in like the apartment portion of the New Titans digs or whatever,
yeah,
that's the best I've ever seen her art look.
Yeah, it is.
It wasn't an action sequence, but it was tremendous.
I'm just offended because why isn't Yara Flora in that? Who cares about Wonder Girl? Donna Troy. She's old news.
Zach,
you have work to do with me. Is that what I understood?
Zach, get the apples.
Also, I want to point out that Wally is still dead.
Nope.
Yeah, it is. It's future Wally.
No, the corpse was future Wally.
Yes, I said so. Technically, Wally still is dead.
No, this Wally. No.
Timey-wimey.
Timey-wimey. I hate timey-wimey. But it worked. Hey, he's not dead, though. That's the takeaway.
Well, the present one isn't dead. The future
number 3 is, of course, World's Finest, number 16. This is the best issue of this story arc so far, in my opinion. I love they decided to go all Terminator with it. We have to melt down the humans to get the elements.
That was kind of gnarly, and they show them actually going in.
Yeah, that was really wild. But then I also like everybody gets a chance to play in this one. It's not just Batman, Superman. Like Flash gets a moment, Green Arrow, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman. It's kind of cool seeing the whole.
Excuse me, it was not Green Arrow. It was Oliver Queen.
It was
Ted Kord.
It was Green Arrow. Ted Kord did nothing in this one, but anyway, he just
they all did their part. They all built the bow and the arrow.
The Metal Man, Plastic Man. It was a very, very good issue.
Yeah. Theoretically, if this takes place in the Silver Age, Ted Kord wasn't there yet because he was still a Charlton character.
I don't think this.
I think it's at this point. It's kind of like, yeah, whatever works for the story.
The sliding time scale is really weird because they had smartphones that they showed. So,
no, that makes it. But in sliding time scale, you had smartphones before the crisis because the crisis now would have only taken place several years ago. So,
good point. Good point.
Is Zach getting apples a code for bug? Zach getting
No. Zach getting apples means that RDV is about to get spit in the face for not being cool.
Actually, no. It's what Ronnie just said because the fact you put World's Finest, you're number 3.
Yeah. Have you seen my number 2?
No, because you haven't.
I don't want to. That's gross, bro.
My number 2. This is my favorite issue of Superman so far. Superman number 5.
Channel.
Making bow ties cool again. I freaking loved everything about this. The Jimmy Olsen Screaming Banshee love story was cool. First of all, they also reference all the different things that Jimmy Olsen has been turned into, like the time he was a giant turtle and a porcupine. All that was fun.
When he had awesome hair.
There was also Superman not wanting to hurt anybody, like just wanting to save everybody, including Lex Luthor. But then what happened, I thought it was really, really clever. So up until now, Lex Luthor just like talks normally from his prison cell, and Superman can hear him because of his super hearing. But then with Silver Banshee, Screaming Banshee, whatever her name is, we find out that it messes up his super hearing for like 24 hours or so. And so when the finale happens, it's like, oh, this is that. Oh, so yeah, I don't.
We all know what happens in prison.
I don't want to give away the ending, but yeah, the ending was really. I thought
I
it
think
was.
I kind of did give it away when I was.
Oh, did you? Oh,
I think so.
If anyone actually remembers,
yeah.
I don't remember.
It was. I was surprised. I'm curious to see what happens in the next issue.
Too
I
bad
do
we
have
got to
to
wait
say,
2 months.
the look of those scientists. Yeah, one of them is starting.
Howard Stern.
Not even Howard Stern. It's weirder than Howard Stern. It's like Howard Stern on crack. It's really bizarre. It's like if Howard Stern and Ozzy Osbourne had a kid together. That's what it reminds me of. Anyway, I'm going off on a rabbit hole there. All right, my number one book this week. I'm a little biased.
I already know what it is.
Yeah, well, it's Ultimate Invasion.
I was gonna say before, but I didn't want to, take the win on your.
You guessed my number one like every other week on Tuesday.
I don't have to. You know why? Because I look at your full list.
Yeah.
Look at Comic Geeks.
I'm a little biased because I'm a big Jonathan Hickman fan, and this reads like it's like I'm reading his.
It reads like Reed
all over again
versus Reed.
Yeah, well, that's why it's like it's Fantastic Four because he's written Reed Richards before like this. I thought, that opening scene that you were talking about, I thought was really, really cool. Like that breakout scene where he escapes from the prison. I was like, oh, yeah. Because the Maker is like, it's all the smarts of Reed Richards, but he's evil and not wanting to better anything.
I got to give it a knock because there's the hair. Franklin Richards still has black hair in this.
Okay. That's fine.
Hickman should have just changed it. Think of it.
No, he's got to stick with what's in canon. I mean,
that book is a good example of what I was saying earlier with titles. If the storytelling is good enough, you could forgive the title because to me, Ultimate Invasion is suspect to me because a year from now they'll do Extreme Ultimate Invasion or something like that. And so that shows the power of strong storytelling.
Yeah, I think the invasion is a little weird because they're not invading. Like, as far as we know, the Ultimate Universe was destroyed. So I would call it Ultimate Departure, maybe, or something. Something like he's going off to make his own universe, we think. But, I thought it was really cool. Also, just seeing the Illuminati back together was really cool because, of course, Hickman did write the New Avengers and the Secret Wars and stuff that went on with the Illuminati there. Miles Morales, actually, for having like this prime spot on the cover, didn't really have a whole lot to do. Basically, what happens is Maker shows up in his apartment. He's like, hey, you and me are the only two people from this universe that got destroyed. You want to come with while I remake it? And Miles is like, nah, fam, I'm good. He's like, okay, I'm out.
Except for Jimmy Hudson, who came over from the Ultimate Universe. But then he died, and they brought him back on Krakoa in a pod. So he's now at 616.
Jimmy Hudson wasn't even Wolverine. He was as much Wolverine as Miles Morales was Spider-Man.
Jimmy Hudson was Guardian.
Yeah.
From Alpha Flight.
Yeah, he was Alpha Flight. Yeah.
And the Ultimate Universe, he was Wolverine's son.
All right. Well, this was, I think, a fantastic version. It was pricey, but it was also 56 pages, so it was a nice lengthy book. Then the ending of it, you see he hops into this other universe and he stops a really big canon event from happening, presumably so that he can alter the course of that world's history.
My thoughts on this is that the fact, in order to find the Maker, the fact that the only person that's like him is Miles Morales. They might use Miles Morales to tune his chemical makeup to open a portal.
All I can say is after reading several of Hickman's large comic runs, I just don't bother trying to predict. I think it takes the fun out of it. I'm just along for the ride.
If there's going to be a portals in this series, America Chavez better be punching them.
I did like seeing. So they showed there was a little. I'm sure it'll be part of the larger story. But there's a scene where the Maker is like stealing the things from each of the Illuminati members. And one of them is a gate that Reed Richards talks about. So that gate was a very large part of his Fantastic Four run, which actually Skip and Tosh and I did a whole long retrospective of over on his channel. You should check it out.
You think Miles would want to go back to his universe because his
he doesn't remember anything about it.
Maybe
it doesn't seem like he remembers anything about it.
his mom and everyone that was on the Ultimate Universe is dead. So it seems like the maker is just making a new universe. He's just collecting things.
Well, I don't think Miles remembers anything about the old universe, and the maker does. So I think that might be why that he said no. But anyway, we'll have to wait for the next issue to find out more. Unfortunately, I did pick up 2 other books this week, though. I got 2 collections.
What?
The first one is one that I've been told by several people that I need to check out, being the Daniel Warren Johnson fan that I am now. So I found the trade of Do a Power Bomb from Daniel Warren Johnson and Mike Spencer. Doug, I don't know if you've read Murder Falcon by Daniel Warren Johnson. We kind of have a little RDV and Ash and Skip and I, we have like a little book club, and we read through Murder Falcon a few weeks ago, which is a Daniel Warren Johnson book that he did. It's like 6 issues long. Fantastic. Like, turned me into like a huge fan of his. So I was told to check this out. It's a big it looks like a wrestling themed book.
Well, not just the art he does it, but it was actually a very emotional story he told.
He wrote it, he writes and does art. He does both.
So
and he does both really, really well.
It was just announced he's going to be doing the Transformer book for Skybound.
Yep. He's doing the new Transformers book. He did Wonder Woman Dead Earth or Dead Planet.
Dead Earth.
And then he did the Beta Ray Bill miniseries.
Dear God, you see his name and he pops up in the chat.
Beetlejuice! Here you go, Ash. There we go. This is on the to read list. So,
jeez.
And then
Don't say don't the same.
RDV saw this the other day, so this won't be news to him. But my birthday was earlier this month, so I decided to I'm sorry, Rhaegar, I splurged on myself a little bit. Decided to treat myself, and I found the volume 1. So now I have the full set 1 through 3 of the Jeff Johns JSA Omnibus or Omnibuy, whatever the plural is. So yeah, this is one of the top 5 comic runs of all time, in my opinion.
I thought it was Omnibus.
Omnibus, whatever. But yeah, I this is some good stuff. If you haven't read Jeff Johns JSA, it's well worth a try.
You know, Zach, I gotta say, don't know if it's top 5, but I don't think you'd have to go that much farther down if it isn't.
For me, it's top 5. I'm sure. Look, I'm sure that there's John Byrne, a bunch of runs with John Byrne, probably. But yeah, like just my personal taste and experiences. Like, yeah, his JSA, it's so long and there's so much goodness in it. Yeah, it makes my top 5 easily. If I could only read 5 runs for the rest of my life, this is one of them.
Well, I'm just saying, that I've been reading for longer than anybody here has been alive. Mm-hmm. So, I've been exposed to a lot more. But that said, that's a tremendous run. And I don't know if historically it would probably place fairly close to that if anybody's looking at it objectively, because it never sold as well as JLA, but it was vastly superior.
I think I have a good, I've read a good chunk of the JLA, the Grant Morrison run. It's fine. It's good. But
it is good.
Yeah. Something about the JSA just hits different.
The sense of family. It just,
yeah.
Very few. I don't think any teen book has ever captured a sense of family like JSA did the first run.
Mm-hmm.
The second one, though good, it was almost like at some point DC gets so frustrated. Well, this was back when they cared about producing good comics,
right?
They would do all this awesome stuff, and then look at the sales charts and see Marvel giving them noogies every month. Mm-hmm. So eventually, Peter David's Supergirl got cut off because Jeff Loeb wanted to try something that, in my opinion, wasn't anywhere near as good. And I think the JSA probably they said we need to make this more like a straight ahead comic book, more grandiose, like with the Gog and Magog and during the second run.
Yeah.
Good stories, but the first run was just phenomenal.
Marnie is saying, for those who have access to Ollie's store, they have a DC Marvel trade paperbacks for $4.
Yep.
By 16.
I was just at Ollie's today, actually. My Ollie's, they're stuck. They have the same comics every time I go in there. It's almost boring.
Yeah, my Ollie's the exact same thing. They just don't exist.
I'm pleased to report that my Ollie's is back to sucking.
Whoa.
No.
Under the bridge.
Although you guys might have liked it. There was a Art Germ portfolio, oversized hardcovers.
Oh.
And I thought about that. I said, yeah, this would be cool, but you look through them and they're just like giant versions of the covers you've already bought. And then what? Because that Thor thing that I bought that I showed a couple months ago, it's sitting on the back of my couch. Because I don't have a place I can read it. I mean, it's literally like that tall.
That was the whole they did for Detective Comics. They had the Lee Barrymore covers.
Yeah.
They put them all together and they told like a little story. I'm like, I already own all those covers. Why do I want to buy a book that? Like the coolest thing I saw that here was a George Perez poster book of all the covers of all the covers he's did, when he was alive, and you can tear them out and you can frame them, put them in picture frames if you want to.
Honestly, that would be, to me as a comic book guy, that would mean more to me than the Art Germ covers. I mean, as beautiful as those are, Perez is Perez, and I'd rather see Perez covers.
Yeah, Perez, New Teen Titans covers, all that stuff, and Wonder Woman, all those. I was like, and it was a pretty big poster book, and it was, I think it was like, I don't know how much it costs, but it was like.
I even bought a Ryan North book to get a George Perez variant. And Zach, I should bill you for that.
I feel
was it one of his Fantastic Four?
Yeah, it was the last issue where Alicia and Sue sound like teenage TikTokers.
No, they don't sound like TikTokers.
Oh, he can't write dialogue to save his life.
I would have thought he would have torn the cover off and then got money back from the shop. Billy did the magazines. They tear the covers up and they throw it away.
Yeah, it's a
God. They sound like there's this new show. I think it's on Peacock. Where it's like a husband and wife where they run a podcast to find a murderer. That's what they sounded like.
Don't care.
But all right, well hey, listen, we can agree on Titans and we can disagree on Fantastic Four. It's okay.
You're gonna have to go a long way to try to find somebody to agree with you on Fantastic Four.
I can walk that road alone, sir.
I will say
walk that road and shove apples in your own face.
I will go even further than Zach. This is my hot take. The early Dan Slott Fantastic Fours were okay. They weren't horrible.
They're not bad. Even the Wedding of Dr.
I know.
Not bad.
When they were going around and with the Malcolm kid and they're creating the different worlds.
Welcome to the dark side, Pinkman.
I've been there. I've had the cookies. They're bomb.
They're pretty bomb.
The ones that Dan Slott left over. The ones he couldn't grab grab your hands on them.
Brain's just thinking. I thought I was so close to being done with this job.
I'm resigning from this channel.
It's what happens when you leave us for Wes.
I didn't leave us for
Wes.
The retrospectives over on Wes's channel. He doesn't even do ours anymore.
With them, or 2 videos with them.
I know what it is. He does a retrospectives over Wes now again. Wes, he's like an old girlfriend is like hey, wanna hang out again? See you later, Bankman.
So the one stream I came into a love triangle dispute between you guys and Wes or something like that.
I was just busting his balls. Something we do on each channel.
Remember, there's only one person here who has met him in person, all the way over there.
That's true. His siren song of Wes brought me all the way to the Philippines.
Pixel was close, so Pixel actually went to the Philippines.
I told him, I was like, you need to find where Wes lives, and then whenever he does his Saturday morning stream, go in the window and have Puppetine just like waving around. But
Actually,
he's like,
I told
I'll get
him-
shot. I was like, yeah,
I-
you probably would.
I told him if you get kidnapped, we're gonna have to hire Wes to get you back commando style.
Rambo style.
Yeah, because that's
Hmm.
I think it's 11 o'clock where he is when he does those aficionados, or
I
10,
believe
it's
so.
like 12 or 13-hour difference.
Yeah, ahead, yeah. Because I think it's the next day, so I think for him it might actually be Sunday.
No, it's
Or-
Saturday night there.
Oh,
But I
okay.
don't
You're
know
right.
if
You're
it's
right.
10 or
Okay, yeah.
11.
Yeah, okay. I got my time zones mixed up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's no joke. When I was in the Philippines, we did have like undercover security that were like trailing us to make sure that we weren't kidnapped.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Dang.
it is a real thing over there
I
in
was
certain
gonna say,
places.
I know when I've been to Indonesia, I was in Indonesia for about a week once, and they did tell, like, we were in the city, but they were like, yeah, if you decide to go outside the city, there are certain areas you can't go because you will be taken hostage and may or may not die.
Yeah, no, the West thing was just like the last day of our trip. We were like on a mission trip or whatever, so we were bouncing about around this island called Iloilo, and West was close enough, and then it was just like, hey, we have like basically one day at the very end where we could like chill out at this pool, and if you're in town, like that'd be cool to like, meet up and eat something or whatever. And he was like, yeah, let's do it, and it just worked out perfectly.
Nice.
Curious, Doug, how tall is Wes?
He might be a little tall. I'm 5'8", and I think he's, I don't know, maybe like 5'9", 5'10", maybe. If I'm not mistaken. We're close to
anything, but
we're close to the same height, but I think he's a little taller than I am.
Now I've learned that I'm taller than Wes. I'm 6'1".
So since Doug's on here, I felt like, hey, you might as well hawk some of his stuff that he's been working on.
Oh, neat.
At the little rosary breeds, which I believe you were handing those out to, we're not handing them out, but you were giving out to some of your loyal fans. Was it last year or year before?
Yeah, well, we had the Kiro one that came out with the crossover last year, but that was like a limited supply. And so sometimes it's one of those things. I say I'm a benevolent dictator when it comes to pricing and whether I give out free stuff or whatever. And sometimes I have practicing Catholics that'll, if I find out that they are like off the grid, like privately they're talking to me, then I reserve the right to give people free rosaries or whatever. So
Sure.
It's one of those things. I actually feel a little weird selling them at the same time, but it's not like I make a profit off of them. Basically, like I sell them as low as possible, and then
it's not like you're selling wine and wafers.
Yeah, I mean, there is a cost to actually making them. They're definitely not cheap, so I try and lower it as much as possible, and then I recycle anything I make right back into, buying more of them.
But I'm looking at some of these prices, man. Like you gotta be. I mean, $60. It is cool. You get the rosary plus you get the infinite scent for 3.
Oh yeah, is that the bundle?
The bundle.
So that's interesting because like the first 30 days we always do an early bird special, and I price them like really, really good. And then after that, I sort of leave it up to the Iconic Comics people to set it. And it's one of those things where I'm not like a business guy, and I'm always trying to like lower the price. But then the guy who like runs Iconic, he's like a straight up business guy, and he's like, listen, if people will pay it, I'm gonna charge it. And then so like we're in this little battle because I'm just like, can you just lower it a little bit? And he's like, Doug, we got to make you money here, and they're actually like willing to pay for it when they come to the website. So it's like that's one of those like things where you're trying to balance out like your principles with somebody else's principles, and they have to, because they do all the distribution for this sort of stuff, and they hire people and teams to do all this stuff for Tim's campaigns and Eric's, and so they're paying people as well, so we got to make it worth it for them. So, but to me, it's like I'm a writer. As long as I could pay my bills at the end of the month, like that's all I care about. I don't need to become like a millionaire or anything like that.
I love how it says here is like he during his time, Watch Times, high profile figures, Gary Sinise. does anybody know who Gary Sinise is? I know him.
I know.
Bring him.
Yeah, I mean, if you're into military stuff, he does a lot of stuff with veterans and wounded veterans.
Sure.
I mean, I feel like a lot of people. Wasn't he on like? He was on a CSI, one of the CSI shows.
Yep.
Well, he was.
I mean,
he's
so
an
a
actor.
lot of people.
He's an actor from back in the day. Like I said, like it's just like it kind of feels like for me personally, I haven't heard anything about him in a while.
Well, I imagine
he's kind of fallen out of Hollywood, probably.
He's probably one. Yeah. Well, I mean, some of his
Mike
views,
Rowe, Dirty Jobs guy, right?
Yeah, some of his views probably don't align too much with modern day Hollywood.
I'm just thinking like a kid, like thinking like Jimmy Quirks, you know. He was like early 20s, like, who the hell's Gary Sinise?
Yeah,
I mean,
Jimmy is like school on Saturday. He got no class.
Soul Finder has a good following of military veterans in it. So basically, law enforcement, military guys. When I go to shows, especially Bell County Comic Con, it's close to Fort Hood. So we always get a lot of military guys that are buying, and you know, they walk by the booth, they got their grunt style shirts on, they got their American flag hats, just clothes you know immediately that they are law enforcement or military. So we have them, and then also like a growing number of practicing Catholics. Definitely like a conservative crowd definitely gravitates. And then typically I would say, 40 years old to 55, there's like a good chunk of readers. But in terms of like young kids, like, no. But I do hear from fathers that, they send me pictures. They're reading it with their kids, or their kid had, first communion and they gave them the rosary and that sort of thing. So, it's definitely tailored to a specific audience.
It says that Jeff Spokes does the back cover. Obviously, this giant spider, that's Jeff Spokes.
No, did he not fix that? Sorry, that needs to be fixed. That's Dave Dorman on both the front and back. So what he did is for War Cry, Jeff Spokes did the back cover for War Cry. So is it in there? Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, so the back cover on that is Jeff Spokes.
This? Yeah, this looks like him.
Yeah, Jeff Spokes.
That's the inside, like, little, like, catch-up page. I don't know if did he not? But that is Jeff Spokes' art.
Yeah, I'm in love with that guy's art.
Yeah, I got it right over here.
Yeah, I saw you had the calendar with Jeff Spokes' art.
Yeah, Engeltein's like, what's with the porn behind you? it's iconic comics.
The freaking DC gave him all this work to do. Like, I'm happy for Jeff, of course, but I was giving him a good amount of work, and then he's like, Doug, man, DC, they're like just basically throwing work at me. He's like, I still want to do stuff like Soul Finder stuff, but I gotta find a way to squeeze it in. So basically, I got to come back to him with the volume 5 script here and see. I know he's game to try and do something, but yeah, DC kind of ticked me off because they threw the kitchen sink of work at him.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's getting enough to pay bills, that I hear DC's pay rate isn't super awesome with a lot of their artists.
Yeah. So as far as for War Cry, we got this in that cover. And
good for him though.
That's Alejandro Mirabal.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, Alejandro. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Very cool.
Yeah, Alejandro's another one where he was doing a bunch of stuff for me, and then he went into the video game industry, and he's just swamped with, I got a glimpse of all the work that he does, and it's like nuts, man. Every time that's the thing is like, if you get in contact with talented artists, like they get snatched up by other people. And, short of you offering them, I don't know, like crazy amounts of money, you're not going to be able to get them back because they only have so much time in a day.
Is there any chance you might put Eric Breen in one of these books? He could be one of the villains. Like he's just been there. He's one of the ancient villains.
I'm actually surprised that Tim hasn't done that yet.
Obviously,
I'm like the one holdout.
As the crossover there that's Jeff Spokes.
Yeah. So, yeah, Jeff Spoke's art is beautiful, man. Like it's we talk about Dan Moore out here tonight. Jeff Spokes is the other one. Adam Hughes, all those guys, and not because he has for two big reasons.
Wait, so this is Jeff Spokes?
Yeah.
I not to be cynical, but DC's not going to let him draw like that.
Yeah.
Well, of course they still have. I've seen he did a bunch of like profile pictures or just like pictures of all their heroes that they're spotlighting, and you can tell like they still have their you can't put Starfire in the bikini. She's got to be in the one piece thing, the leotard. You can tell they still have that locked down, but. He does like a lot of his stuff looks really good. Like he drew like Shazam and the Flash and like a lot of the stuff he draws is knockout stuff. Like it's fantastic. I'd love to see him do like the interiors on a book. Lately, all I've really seen him do are like covers and pinups and things like that. I'd love to see him do the interiors.
I mean, pinups are probably quicker to do, and he makes them just much money.
Oh yeah, no, definitely pinups are. I mean, yeah, it's like one.
I'm surprised Adam Hughes doesn't do more pinups. Or maybe he does. I haven't seen a lot.
He does. Oh, he does a good chunk.
Frank Cho has been kicking it though. He's or not kicking it, but killing it, I should say, over on Instagram every single day. He's still doing the outrage with the Gwen, Spider-Gwen, just despite the character creator. So,
yeah, I like Marania's last comment. I would have added, "Don't turn around."
The good father is definitely between some temptation in that cover. That is true. That is true.
This always throws me off is they have a soundtrack. Like I never would have thought I guess.
I'll have the vinyl out pretty soon. So that's good. I literally will. So I went through a Third Man pressing. And actually, the cover art for the vinyl is Jeff Spokes as well. So Jeff Spokes did the sleeves for the vinyl, and I already put my deposit down and all that. You had to put 50%, but then I'm just basically waiting in the queue. So eventually, the vinyl will actually end up on the Iconic Comic website as well.
So you said Third Man. Is that talking about the label?
So Jack White.
That's my next question. That Third Man.
He has what's his own. His company is Third Man Pressing, and I basically just went to them and I was like, "Hey, I know you guys are doing vinyl for a bunch of people. Can anybody do it?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure. Well, what's up?" And then I told them, and they're like, "Yep." And so they just have certain criteria that you have to meet, and as long as you get things formatted the way that they want it, and whether it's the audio files or the art and the label, the label art and all of that sort of stuff, you do it right. Once that's done, then you go into the queue. But they have a lot of people that are trying to go through them, so you might have to wait a little bit to get your stuff done. But yeah, everything's ready to go. I'm just waiting for them to finish pressing them.
Again, not to be cynical for a second time, I'm glad to know that Jack White's business sense trumps his politics.
Yeah, there's been times where he's sounded a bit libertarian when he's talked about the industry and things. I think at least economically, he does get it. But yeah, his politics on social issues and some of that other stuff, that gets into all sorts of weird things. But yeah, at least when it comes to Third Man Pressing, I think he learned a few things that on that issue, he's maybe at least libertarian.
Good to know.
And it looks like one of those video games you pop into your thing. It's like the romance games.
Yeah, She Lava did the theme song last year, and basically, I sort of wanted something that was James Bondish, but also, and then this is also James Bondish as well, from like the Metal Gear Snake Eater sort of song.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And so I basically just said like, James Bondish, but also Snake Eater-ish. If you could sort of do something in that realm, then that would be cool. And then she just kind of went. She read all the books, and then she went from there.
Right
And it came out
on.
like Britney Spears.
I got to get back with her again and see if she wants to do another one. So I either want her to do something that's Beach Boys-esque pet sounds, or I don't know. I know that sounds really weird, but we'll see. So I like to just like experiment with all sorts of stuff.
Pet
If I
Shop
got a
Boys.
male singer, I'd want to do something that's like 1980s. There's like a song from Stones Cobra, Angel of the City, which I think it would be like hilarious to do some sort of Soul Finders thing that's like, was it John Tepper? And then Bloodsport has a couple like good stuff as well, where if it like harkened back to that, it would make me laugh.
Stan Bush and Robert Tepper was the guy who did the No Way Out for it's probably the same guy, right?
Yeah.
That's a guy who did There's No Easy Way Out for Rocky 4.
Yep.
But he also did some other ones too.
Yeah, those 80s songs are like guilty pleasures. You listen to them now and they still like bring a smile to your face.
When I post on Instagram sharing out these streams, I'm always like, for the best of the best, that's the week. I'm like, they don't have best of the best, but they have like you're the best around. And I lately they have I did this look up 80s songs you can add to your post. So if you have Instagram on your phone, iPhone, I think even with your Samsung device, if you have that too, it actually plays the music when you go into my posts. So I'm thinking like, well, if I put a catchy song in there, it'll actually catch someone to make you stop and actually look at my post and read. That's my thought process, versus just scrolling, because that's basically what Instagram's become. It's like TikTok. You just scroll,
right?
Twitter. But anything else coming out as far as for you?
So Soul Finder Volume 4 is being colored right now. It's coming at a pretty good clip. Someone poached our colorist, so that was kind of irritating, and that pushed things back because we literally had to get a new colorist. But it was a blessing in disguise because the guy we got now is really good.
Awesome.
I would say it matches. It matches all the. That was the thing that I said to Matt. I was like, I don't want there to be a noticeable drop in quality. It has to at least equal, what we've done in the past. And so it worked out really well. And he's really good and super cool guy. And so that should be out later this year. First the soft cover, then the hard cover will follow probably months later, sort of like we did with Volume 3. And then Eric Canetti is doing a short story for me called Noctis Terrare, and that is the inking is almost done and it looks awesome. I know I'm biased, but Eric Canetti doing Soul Finder stuff is pretty cool.
Awesome.
Sorry to interrupt, but I recently met Eric on Wes's. I'm going on vacation, so I'm going to record aficionados, and I was wondering, Doug, have you ever been able to get Eric Canetti to raise his voice?
No. So I hung out with Eric last year. We went to Austin a day before Bell County Comic Con, and we were hanging out, and we went out to like a pretty cool restaurant, and he's just a really chill, laid back guy. And then this year we're supposed to meet up again in Austin a day early. We'll either probably go to the same restaurant, or I wanted to get like some Asian food this time. But yeah, he's just very zen-ish, I guess is the word.
Is he like Stephen Wright?
Kind of. I was thinking, because Wes has 3 Erics on his shows. I said, I'm an idiot. Eric Sullivan is just, he's always on. And then Eric Canetti he's just kind of like this. Never changes.
Yeah, you can't really rile Eric up. And I've seen people try to bait him or goad him into getting angry over stuff. And he never takes the bait. He always takes the high road and usually makes people that try and like troll him or try and get him to get angry, like they're the ones that have egg on their face.
Well, I was proud of myself because I made him laugh. I wasn't sure he even had that emotion. It's like,
No, he's just a very thoughtful guy. He takes his time. He thinks about what he says before he says it,
I
and
respect that.
he's a rarity amongst artists that I've met over the years. We get along very well. I'll just put it that way.
That's my next question: is that, are you gonna get any plushies for Soulfinder?
I feel bad because Tim and Mark are just these machines that they just keep coming out with merch and all of this sort of stuff, and I'm just like, how do you find the time to do 3 books a year, do all this crazy complicated merch? And I mean, some of it is actually, you know, the stands are like the statues that they're doing, some stuff that's going to come out next year.
Yeah, I saw they were working on action figures.
No, those are just the standees. Those aren't the statues.
No,
Yeah.
the statues I saw that
this-
they're working on are crazy looking.
Yeah, so they do all this sort of stuff, and I'm like, how do you find the time to do all this with a full-time job? It's like, but I'm kind of weird in that most of my free time, I like just like reading books and stuff. So I get lost in books.
The only thing I could think about is that they've been working on it for the past 10 years. And it's just they just have them there. They're just kind of collecting them, and then that makes it look like they're releasing them all the time. But they've actually had them stockpile for a while. You know?
Yeah, there's a couple projects. So usually if I do something, it is so like the vinyl thing was actually took longer than I wanted. There's another merch project that I've been working on for like almost a year and a half. I don't know if it'll ever happen. I don't know if the business people are trolling me just to see how patient I am. But if I could ever get it done, it's going to be really, really cool. I could tell you like off the stream because I don't want to talk about it yet. But so there's a few things that I am working on, but it's just it takes a long time for some of this, especially if it's like they're a specialty shop and they're making an exception for you to do something that they don't normally do. And so maybe I'll get the plushies eventually one day. But right now, I don't know. Like it would be interesting to see like little demon plushies or something. I don't know if I want to do that or not. That would send the wrong message. Maybe I'll get letters from the church or the Pope or something. Who knows?
Little red devil with the pitchfork.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to like cutesify Satan or anything like that. It'd probably be a bad idea. For
I was thinking of Richie Rich and all that stuff. You know, the little red devil. Hot Spot, I think his name was.
So, but actually, Matt Weldon has made cat versions of all the Soulfinder characters of like Redder and Shua and a Crane. So you never know.
Why not? There's always a little Japanese figurines, like they have like little cat figures.
Probably just drew it just like went straight to pen like he always does. He doesn't. Matt Weldon, I've seen him draw. Like the dude doesn't do like most artists will sketch something out on pencil first and then they'll go ink it.
He goes straight ink.
Weldon just goes straight to the ink and just goes from there. It's incredible to watch, actually.
I guess once he got the process down, it's kind of like easy for him.
Yeah, he also draws hair. Like he's one of the best hair artists in the whole.
I gotta say though, that is very like it's mind blowing because these guys like they can visualize what they want to do, and they just trace it out of their mind on the paper. It's like here we'll draw this stick here, and we'll add an arm, and then it's like what did they draw here? And then it's like we'll draw another oblong circle. And
that's another one where a lot of people are vying for his time and his attention, and I'm always paranoid that he's just going to come to me and be like, "I'm sorry, Doug. I got, somebody, I don't know, I gave me all this work, yada yada yada." But actually, when we were down in Texas, we were talking about that sort of stuff, and he's good for Soulfinder Volume 5, and it sounds like Soulfinder 6. And
hold on, I got a call with Matt Weldon right now.
Yeah, that's where I've seen him draw. He said he used to do Drawn and Quartered, and I used to just watch him draw like all kinds of characters and stuff. It would just be mind blowing. Like, how does this guy do that?
I remember being in grade school. There was this kid, Lynn, and he would just draw. He's like 12 years old, 12, 14, between their age. Actually think about 16, 5th and 6th grade. So he might have been like right around 10 to 11 years old, and he just sits there and he's just drawn like you see your DBZ anime and all that stuff. He just draw all that stuff. It's like, how do you do that? I can barely get the stick figure that have the same length leg.
I actually have a copy of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from him. I'll have to show
Lynn?
it to you.
Oh, I didn't know you.
No, from Matt Weldon.
Oh.
He drew the cover of an issue of T. I'll show it to you sometime. You don't want me to send it to you though. It has Jenica in it. But he did draw what's his name? Shredder, like in the background. He's like, hey, what do you want drawn in the background? I was like, could you do Shredder? Like because it was a full moon in the background, so his face is kind of like against the moon. It's really, really sick. It's really awesome.
6-inch scale, and it could be with the Spider-Man and so on your shelf.
Oh
So
yeah,
funny.
I do want to do that. But the thing with action figures, I don't want to spoil stuff, but I have to do certain things way in advance, and so sometimes there's like schedules that open up for the people that would be making these figures, and you have like a window of time in order to give them an order. So you have to not only give them the order, but then there's a certain amount of money that you have to put down. And so I haven't been doing the crowdfunding, so everything's a little bit slower for me because I'm not doing crowdfunding. And it's like, do I really want to put down that amount of cash like right now, or do I want to just focus on making sure I get the books
How about
out?
this? We see Soul Fighter in this sleek new Ferrari, and he's got a missile launcher and all this stuff. It's like
Like
I think of Santa Claus. Remember the movie Tim Allen? They're like, it's supposed to be a Santa in a sleigh, but we're thinking Santa's going to go in a tank this time, like for Christmas. It's like, what?
Well, I mean, there is a lot of military stuff in the Soul Finder world. So Volume 5 is going to be all in a nuclear submarine.
I'm just thinking you go so overboard with the toys to the point where you lose the whole point of the comic book because they just want to like, let's just build toys with tanks and planes. It's G.I. Joe. But
Cool, man.
dude, like honestly, like once you get down you get the toy line, like in your set, right?
Yeah, and I'm a little skittish with that because there was a indie comic guy like years ago, and he would be like, "All right, I'm gonna be doing toys, man," and blah 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 blah, and all this sort of stuff. And I was like, "You haven't even put out your first book yet. Why are you talking about toys, dude? Like, seriously?" And so I'm just skittish with things. A lot of indie creators seem to like focus on stuff that's totally unrelated to comics, like before they even establish the comic and get the characters done and all of this. And I'm just like, dude, you need to focus on the storytelling first. And and then if people like your stuff, then you can move on to action figures. Otherwise, it's just a vanity thing where you're making figures.
And I agree. I've seen that on Kickstarter before. People have this really cool trailers and all that stuff. The trailer guy comes in, like somebody does it, and then it's like the book doesn't live up to what the trailer hypes it up to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm definitely a slow roll when it comes to all of this. And for me, for the most part, it's like I shouldn't say I just care about the books, but I mean, I really just want to get out quality hardcover books that showcase
it's your
Matt's
reputation
art.
too. If you put out something that's sloppy, and it's like, well, Doug puts out crappy books. Why should we support Doug? It's like you put your honest effort into something, your heart into it. And it shows.
And if you're only putting out one book a year, you gotta stick the landing. If I was putting out 3 books a year and one was like, whatever, but you put out one book a year and it's a total dud, then it's like, oh crap.
Well, that's what Zach have always talked about with the Flash book. He's putting out so many books he brought, and then he's done doing 2 a month. Like, and he has to you can't just throw fillers out there. Like, this is obviously anyone could if you're working for DC and they just want you just phone it in if you want to, but you can tell when someone actually takes their time to put their effort into storytelling, and that's one of the things why we've always said like lately life the Flash with Jeremy Adams, because this guy actually seems like he actually gives a shit about people who are reading his books, and he actually cares about the character enough to respect them and do the lore. So
yeah, even if people don't like a story that I put out, I feel like the vast majority of objective people would be like, okay, this one wasn't up my alley, but I can see that this guy did his homework, and I can see that he really cares about what he's doing, even if one particular story isn't up their alley or whatnot. And so to me, it's just like, no, you have to put your blood, sweat, and tears into every single book if you're an indie book, because you have a very little margin of error.
You can't afford to do a filler.
Right.
This is a preview for the next issue. I just paid $25. Why am I?
Yeah, if you're charging people, your price point is much higher, and that's the other thing I've said before. Like, people have all sorts of things vying for their attention: video games, Tears of the Kingdom. You know, they could be literally be spending hundreds of hours trying to find Zelda or whatever. And it's like, why would they spend time on iconic comics if I'm gonna like, pardon my language, half-ass it? Like, I can't do that. Like,
now I want to wear a Soul Finder in the theme of Where's Waldo.
What was that? Sorry, I didn't hear that. I heard something. Where's Waldo?
No, but Soul Finder theme. So I gotta find out where the Soul Finder is in the beginning. But do like in the Where's Waldo books.
There you go.
Why not? You know, caption on other people's themes. You know. But so you're do you have a planned date as far as once you get the coloring done on your book? You know, as far as expected.
I right now it's just by the end of the year I want to make sure I get the soft cover out, and then early next year hardcover. So we'll see how that goes. But printing is a whole other can of worms. And last year was a very interesting time. We'll just put it that way.
This will be volume 4?
Volume 4, yep.
And then you're going to have the omnibus coming out then, maybe?
Eventually, I'm not sure. It's really like what volumes I want in there, because I kind of wanted Father Crane's origin, and then a Father Crane tale, and then Redder's origin, and then a Redder tale. So it just depends on how many volumes I want to put into one.
I see that Tim and Doug have been, Tim and Mark, have been putting out omnibus, but then also here's a new volume. It's like they're really capitalizing on it for those who maybe missed the first ones, and like, here, buy the more expensive omnibus, you know, plus the new one. So.
Yeah, my guess is I'm gonna wait until I have the first 6 done and then do the omnibus, because that's the first major story arc.
Sure.
But I always will make sure that I have enough of like soft covers on hand for the other books for people that want them.
You need like the size of that JC omnibus he just showed us earlier tonight, Zach. You need a thick.
That would be more than 6. You're going to be waiting for a while before you get like, God, man. I mean,
I need a Soul Finder length there. It's like it actually has a ribbon, so it's like a Bible.
No, the hardcover books do have ribbons in them.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and I did that specifically. So, and they have the gold gilded pages. So, and then did I do silver for the second one? I'm trying to remember my own books now. There was an issue where I wanted silver, and then they did gold. I think that's what happened. They did the gold gilding by accident, and then it was like, oh crap, I can't have them reprint like literally thousands and thousands of dollars worth of books over a gilding error. I mean, I could, but like I would have felt like a jerk if I did that, and because they would have just thrown the books away. I was like, whatever, it's fine.
I think I remember that was a couple of years back. It wasn't last year. It was like about before 2020.
It was Infinite Ascent. I have to like double check. I'm pretty sure that was the one where they screwed it up. And I, sorry to throw my printer under the bus, but it was one of those things where I was like, I wanted silver gilding with the white ribbon on Infinite Ascent. I didn't want gold. So yeah, that was one of those headaches where you're never across the finish line until you're across. Like they're like, everything's printed, it's good to go. Blah 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 blah, and then you get it, and you're like, no, like I wanted the silver.
Yeah, right now waiting for I backed that Naughty Nice meets Vampirella book, over Kickstarter, and right now they're waiting for Dynamite to give them approval. Oh, actually, no, Dynamite at the last minute after they finished the book and printed and all, they're getting ready to send it out. Dynamite says, the rights holders to the character, we want you to change this. Is like, what? So now it's delayed till after they make the changes, to satisfy the public, the publisher, what's right. So I was like, that's gonna be the most irritating thing ever. If they approved that, and now they're like, no, we don't like that. We want you to change this after you spent the money and all this stuff, getting it to the finish line. Like that's stuff irritates me the most. That's the thing
with not crowdfunding. Like it's a good thing and bad thing is there's so much weird logistical stuff that happens behind the scenes that delays stuff. And like I said, like our colorist was poached, and if I had been crowdfunding, then I would have been screwed, because there would have been a very specific date that had to be done. And then all of a sudden it comes down to the line where the book's supposed to be colored, and then your colorist is not there and you need to find a new one. And you're like, well, I could either find a crappy colorist like tomorrow, or I can spend the time to find a really good colorist who can do this on my timeline. Because that's the other thing is sometimes, there's good colorists out there, but they also have other jobs or other projects that they're working on. They can't just drop everything for you. So that's why I don't like crowdfunding, and I try to avoid it as much as possible, because I don't want to ever be in a situation where I tell people, hey, it'll be ready by June, and then it's not.
Yeah. I guess Microsoft Photoshop color. It's almost done. Marania says you could have both versions of the book as it's silver and gold gilded edges.
I did want to do that. So that's another. I mean, I could get into the behind the scenes stories all day, where I was like, all right, just give me a small percentage that I could have, like, as a special. Give me 100 gilded books out of, I did like 1,200 or whatever, and I was like, can you just give me like 100 of them? And then then there was an issue with that, and then it was like, no, we'll basically give you store credit in the future, that sort of like basically essentially store credit. And I was like, fine. I don't want to fight. I just want my books.
Right. I hate having store credit after I had a bad experience with the place. Like, don't just give me my stuff. He's like, I don't want, because I'm not going to buy stuff. I had a bad experience. Why would I want instant credit?
Yeah, and sometimes it's one of those things where it's like the people that are involved in it. Like, I was very happy overall with. I don't want to say like my printer is a bad printer or anything like that, but say there's somebody on the manufacturing, like on the line or whatever, and for whatever reason, maybe the last project they did was gold gilded, or they very rarely do silver, and they just didn't pay attention to that detail. And there's just some poor dude on the line that made that mistake, but it ends up being, an $18,000 mistake. And you're like, oh crap. And actually, without getting into too much details, there was another with Warcry. That was a situation with someone where it was like, if I pushed it, they probably would have fixed something, but I would have got somebody fired. So you're like, is this worth it? Like, do you want to like really fire someone if they're contrite about their screw up? Like, I don't want someone getting fired like at Christmas time. Like, I don't know. Yeah. Like Uncle's like Ebenezer Scrooge or something like that. So
I can see tomorrow's headline in Abundant Comics. Doug Thrones colorist under the book, or the publisher under the bus. Yeah.
So I don't know. I try to just kind of look at the silver lining in any situation, and like if things go wrong, and they always do, like, all right, like let's figure out how to fix
There's
this.
A certain line. If it's like a every single time thing, like it's the same problem, the same person,
right?
Sure. But if it's like a 1 in a million chance that this happens, but it's not like it's point where it's like, where are my books? Oh, we printed everything except for the last page. Now you have books without the last page in it, or they're out of order. Like, that's a different story.
With Black Tide, I had to get Black Tide reprinted because in the softcover books, the credits page was not included. And it was just a white page when you first open it instead of the credits page. So I literally had to reprint over $10,000 worth of soft covers. Jeez. And that was another one where I was like, I'm at the finish line. We're there. And then I opened the book, and actually, initially, I didn't even see it. And then Tim told me, because he also saw it. And then I was like, wait, what? And then I look, and the credits page wasn't there. And I was like, crap, dude. So I had to get those reprinted in a hurry.
How many were actually reprinted?
12, at least 1,200 books.
Without the credits?
Yeah.
So what happened to those books then?
So I cleared it with the rest of the team, and then I basically it worked out. I turned lemons into lemonade. So at Bell County Comic Con, they have a VIP bag, and they put like free books and stuff like that in there.
That's cool.
And they wanted the books back because they wanted to destroy them, and I was like, no, man, this is not happening. I'm keeping these books. I'm gonna put them in the VIP bag with Demon's Match or whatever. And for a certain, like there's say there's like 500 people that are like VIP, whatever, and they get all sorts of free books. And we're going to just put that in with them. And you're going to reprint the books for me. And those will go out for sale. And then the freebies will be to like the con goers. And then they'll come around and they'll come to our booth and ask for us to sign them and all that sort of stuff. And so, yeah, that worked out. So I basically got a ton of books, for free that I was able to unload. You get what you're paid for. And the thing is with Black Tide, I did have the thank you page in the back. So everybody was thanked in the back, but it wasn't, they didn't have the front official sort of credits page.
Okay. Man, can you imagine if somebody at Marvel really messed up on that, and then the book gets there, it's like they want to destroy that book and be like, I want to sell it. It's a rare book. Marvel screwed up.
Yeah, no, I look at it like that too. Like there's, a handful of people down in Texas or whatever that have the misprint. So they could have it and it's signed or whatever, and who knows down the line. But
I look at that. I look at that on eBay. Somebody selling a misprint, from Doug Ernst. It's like, that's rare. How many people have one of those?
But it's stressful. Like that's the thing with crowdfunding. I mean, I didn't crowd Black Tide, but I mean, when you're putting so much of your own money on the line and then something like that is screwed up, and everyone's going to rake you over the coals for it, because I was like, well, what do I do in this situation?
Everybody love you, Doug. No one attacks you on YouTube or Twitter and all that stuff. You're fine. I've never seen that.
No, it totally never happened.
No. That's the other Doug.
Yeah, my doppelganger, my Dougleganger, something like that.
Yeah.
Now, Venk, I'm going to bow out.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
I didn't think I'd ever be hungry again after that lunch today, but.
Well, when was it? Because you know what they say about Chinese food.
I ate so much it was 2 hours before.
Eric, we're probably going to call it, though. I just wanted to give Doug some screen time on here. It's been a while since I talked to Doug. And Doug's, it's his first time being on the channel, so I figured I'd give him some breathing room to hawk maybe some potential buyers, And then it's always fun talking to Doug,
I totally get that. My stomach, on the other hand, though, just operates on a different.
It's just because you're old.
I think you're taking some sort of passive aggressive shot over the Wes situation, and you're trying to bring them back into the fold. I might be the new guy, so you gotta.
No, Doug, I'm just fat and hungry. Pretty much. There's not any more conflict. If we're gonna close up, I'll hang out till it's.
Yeah. So, any final words? For anybody? Doug, Breen, or Mr. Ratings, who's been reading something.
I'm sorry. I actually was backing the that other iconic comics book, the one that
nice,
just started coming out. It looks like a studio.
Kindred Heavens.
Kindred Heavens. Thank you. I just had a brain fart.
Nice.
After I backed it. It looks like a lot of fun. And then I know Common America, their Volume 8 campaign. I think it launches next week.
Yeah, they announced a trailer. I guess it's a trailer or the teaser page is going to be up soon.
Mm-hmm. I believe the first number of physical backers, there's like a really cool print.
I just can't believe how close that is. They're getting into an anime for that.
If only.
If I could push Tim and Mark to do that, I will do. I have on the record as saying the anime needs to happen.
Dude, if that's what all the kids watch these days. Like my youth group, like they all talk about anime, and like nobody talks about Western. Like a few of them will talk about Spider-Man or Justice League because of the movies. But as far as like what they watch on TV, like none of them watch the Disney Plus shows or any of that. It's all Dragon Ball, Naruto, One Piece.
It's there's Adult Swim after dark on Saturday nights, on Cartoon Network, where they watch that, or they watch Crunchyroll, or they read manga.
Yeah,
it's like
the future.
So fun should start becoming manga now. That's what we need.
You never know. I'm open to different art styles. I'm totally cool with different art styles.
Like I want to actually manga format, so it's from right to left, from the back to the front. That's what I want. That'd be awesome. All right, guys. Thank you guys for sticking around. If you guys want to help us out the channel, you can always leave a comment down below. What you think of Doug? Do you think he's a good guy, or do you think he should have give us free books? Oh. Also, if you guys want to help out the channel too, you can also, there's a couple things you can do other than clicking like. If you wanted to give us $1 or more over at ko-fi.com/puppeteen, the money goes basically towards paying our celebrity guests like Doug for showing up on here, and also it also goes to the StreamYard, which is the $25 a month expense. So we can have little toys we play with in here, and also we pay for the Marvel and the stream and the DC reading apps we use for our readings, which we'll have to get Doug on here one of these times for the readings. They're fun. If we get Breen on here, we had Captain Strangelove on here too. Was also cool. These are just fun readings. I mean, we recently did a Spider-Man, and that's up to 200 view count now. That's pretty good for a channel. Only 330. So almost everybody that's on our channel or probably unsubscribed is watched as much as we have subscribers. But also, the other thing is, if you donate $1 to our Ko-Fi, you're eligible to pick out what book we're going to read next. Or if you don't, instead of doing that, you can also choose a book that you want us to do a retrospective on, whether it's a Marvel or DC book. So you get a little bang for your buck. Thank you, Doug, for showing up after your post-workout.
Yeah, thanks for the invite. Appreciate it. And
no
Captain
problem.
Frugal, shame on you, Captain Frugal.
I get Frugal pass. He's working, at night. I guess.
Captain who?
Captain Hoogle.
Google. Yes. Also, thank you, Ash, for showing up. Saying I got a free book from Doug. It's awesome.
He just popped up in the chat. That's not showing up. He's on his phone.
I was kidding. You let me finish, Mr. Ratings. You start calling you Mr. Producer.
I'm not the producer. You're the one that does all the stuff. You're the producer.
Frugal McDougal. Yes. Moranu, thank you for staying around here too. Rhaegar as well. Anybody else who was here before? Which I believe was Evil Black Cats. And it looks like a lot of Rhaegar. Undead Quinn, Cartoon Comics, David Stanowich. And I think that's it. And Tehillim and Undead Quinn. And Dragon Majesty. Thank you guys for all showing up. Hope you guys had fun, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Good night, kids.